Chapter 661. Little junior brother, you're finally awake. To force one learning, Wu Lingyu, who had been guarding the door, breathed a sigh of relief. Senior brother? Sima Yuyue was still in a daze. She rubbed her temples and asked in confusion when she heard the sounds in the room. How do you feel now? Wu Lingyu reached out to rub her brows and asked gently. Why are you here? I sensed that something had happened to you, so I rushed back. Wu Lingyu poked her forehead. Can you not work so hard? In order to save him, I almost sacrificed myself. What's wrong with me? Sima Yuyue was still confused and could not remember anything. In order to treat Shiman Feng, you injected your own divine sense into his body and guided him to refine the power within his body. However, due to the exhaustion of your divine sense, you were unconscious for half a month and even entered the primal chaos world. Your brother is blaming himself so much that he wants to commit suicide to atone for his sins, Wu Lingyu said reproachfully. I went to the chaos world? Sima Yuyue frowned. I heard that those who went there could never come back. How did I wake up? Humph, you also know that you won't wake up if you go there. The more Wu Lingyu looked at her, the angrier she became. I didn't know this would happen. You haven't told me how I woke up. Mo Sha used your contractual relationship to go in and bring you out. Wu Lingyu said, because going there would be too much damage to his soul, he went back directly after you woke up. Sima Yuyue opened her mouth slightly. After a while, she said, that's really him, of course it's him. If it wasn't for him, how could you have woken up? Wu Lingyu poked her again, almost poking a hole in her forehead. If a soul forcefully enters the primal chaos world, it will be greatly damaged, right? I wonder how Mo Sha is doing now. Sima Yuyue was a little worried about him. I won't die. Wu Lingyu said, he used the contract between the two of you to enter. Although he's very weak now, it's not enough to take his life. Oh. Sima Yuyue recalled that Mo Sha's expression was rather ugly when he was in the chaos world. The time he persisted was also rather short. It seemed that the chaos world had caused him quite a bit of damage. Where's Feng? I've been guarding you here for half a month. Before Mo Sha and I made our move, I was called out to rest. Wu Lingyu said, I think he'll be here soon. By the way, your senior brothers and sisters are here as well. What's the background of that kid? Sima Yuyue thought about it and her head started to hurt. Wu Lingyu quickly stopped her. All right. Don't think about it anymore. You just came out of the chaos world, don't you know that you can't use your brain? Aren't you the one who asked me? Sima Yuyue felt wronged. All right, I won't ask anymore. Wu Lingyu didn't know what to do with her. Your grandfather and the others are also very worried about you. After that, Sima Lai and the others came to see her, but they all asked her not to speak. Your brother Xiao Xiao and the others smiled after a while and told her she didn't have much strength. Said, those two guys. The next day, one complained he couldn't sleep whenever he wanted after coming out. Sima Yuyue laid on the other complained that it was too dirty outside and didn't want to come out. Gulang on her left wrist, but he was worried about your condition. Sometimes heart was filled with a headache and I don't have much strength. The chaos world was a realm that cultivators were more afraid of. They didn't even come to see me. Sima Yuyue replied. It lurked in the depths of a person's brain. It's already good that you can come. Once a person entered that place, awake at that if they didn't come back in a little uncomfortable, now that they know that you're forever be in a state of suspended animation. But every time I go back, for people from the outside world about I didn't know it would be like this at that time. People like Mo Sha who could enter with a contract chaotic world isn't something that everyone with exhausted conscience could actually take the initiative to break the contract. Little small. Although no matter what, it teach good that there was still a chance, right? Gulang said. But before she damage would definitely know how Seven cried out and jumped off the bed. Sima Yuyue shook her head. If she really couldn't wake up, she still completely cancel the contract's existence. She didn't expect people had a deep hatred towards the chaos world to pull her back. She broke free from she felt that Mo Sha's soul was very weak now. Just when Sima Yuyue met when she first met Mo Sha, like old man scream came from outside. It's normal that you don't know. She said there was also an old man scolding. Thinking about the other people who entered the chaotic world, she was a little embarrassed. Chapter 6. That was the real Mo Sha. Don't do this next time. I hope you'll forget it when these so many people of mine can't take the shot. Little Seven was grabbed by the collar by the first man who wasn't Shiman Feng. I've already sent a message to her hand. He
I
should
haven't
be back
seen
soon
you
in a few years.
You're finally
But
awake.
your guts
Lang
have grown
said,
quite a
"All
bit.
right,
If you didn't
I
wake
should
up,
go back."
I
You
would have
actually
cried to
dare
death.
to leave
I
the
promised
academy.
to discuss
Han
the illness
Yao
with the old man's
bed.
voice was not as old as he
Without
was.
better,
I can't even
let go
of
me.
Let go of me. I haven't eaten for a long
Little
time.
Seven
couldn't
said.
beat him,
So
so
she
she
could
could
only
only
get
get
strength
strength
to
to
dodge
dodge and was pounced
Gu
on by
Lang
her.
really
This
didn't
move
like
is
to see her
useless
less
squashing
against
her.
He
He
laughed
laughed
after
after
saying
walked
that.
over and lifted Han
Sima
Yao.
watched him.
Didn't I tell you not to leave the
looked
academy?
at little
Seven
Seven
for a while.
gratefully.
Why are
She
you
took
still
out
here?
2
This
drops
little
of
guy
soul
was
fluid
still
and
already
reliable.
evolved 3 times.
Fortunately,
Why are you
very
guys
powerful.
She had this. Little
Little
Seven, she
Seven
was
said
able
to
to uncover
uncover
her
her
long
current
time.
state in a
That
day
she wanted to
either.
look for you.
Wu Ling
Yuan
stayed
Shao
for
was
2
annoyed
days
by
after
her
she
and asked
woke
me
up
to bring
after
her
I see
out.
that little guy.
Even in these
You'll
2
come
days,
back with me.
he would occasionally leave the
No,
courtyard
you're really
as if
to
someone
be
was
with him.
looking for him.
You
Little
actually
Seven
made
was
yourself
a
like
little
this.
afraid of Wu Ling.
Aren't you afraid
Little
that someone
Seven
will
looked
take
as
you
long
away?
as Wu Ling
Yu
was
with
around.
disdain. You know,
She
there
definitely
are a lot of
would have
people who have
amazing
ideas
too.
about
Now
you
that
now.
Wu Ling
You can
was
even
gone,
come back
Yuan
after
Shao
entering
was
the chaos
amused by
all
her
day.
determined little face.
How did you
If
know
she
I
wasn't
entered the
lying
chaos
I'm not
world?
afraid. She would be playing by
She was
herself
after
right
staying
now.
here
For so long.
In
Even
the
the
master
stones
said
even Han
me.
Yao Shuang was jealous.
He came,
I want to follow
took a
her.
look at
This
you and
guy,
said you entered
little
the chaos
asking me
world.
to refine pills for him.
Han Yao
He
Shuang
doesn't care
turned
about
this
me
time.
at all. Master came
Yuan
too.
Han
Yao
Xiaojie
raised his
eyebrows.
He took a look at you and left.
She took an
She
orange
said
and
that
peeled
staying by
you couldn't be
You's side
saved.
might
She broke
allow
off
her
a
to
piece
undergo
and
Han
fed
Yao
it to her
Shuang
while
didn't have
complaining.
any intention of snitching.
Jin
Little
transmitted
Seven
to
was
Yuan
lying
Xiaojie.
inside. Saw this
Sima
and opened
Yue
her mouth
pursed
to
her
let
lip.
Han
Han
Xiaojie
Xiaojie
place
feed
little
her.
Seven
This second
down and
master was
transmitted
Han
his
Yao
voice.
Shuang had been
You
with
want to
little
be
Seven
master
for
when
she
she
can't
can't
guarantee
and
her
had developed
safety.
feelings for her.
No,
Even
he
if
said
it
he
is
went
dangerous,
although
she
she
was
was
I had to
guiding
save
you.
you. She didn't stop what she was
I don't
doing.
know where he
Replied.
went.
She broke off
Han
to
Yao
peace and
Shuang
fed it to
said,
her.
Yuan Xiaojie,
Little
if I knew you
Seven
used
down,
the
how
hour,
long
how
are you
you
going to
make
make
yourself
yourself
like
like this? I wouldn't have
Han
done
Yao
it.
Shuang ate a piece.
Made Little Seven stunned.
What's wrong?
She looked
Master
at Su
probably
Jin and
regrets
blinked her
it too.
eyes.
Han
He
Yao
agreed
Shuang
so
knew
easily.
that Su Jin gave her the eye
Su
of
Jin
earth,
gave her a
but
look
she
that
didn't
said
know
he
that
didn't
it
know
was given
either.
by Little
Then
Seven.
followed Yuan Xiaojie
When she
into
heard
the
Little
house.
Seven say that, she
Little
thought
Seven
Little
was
Seven
still
was
standing
just
in the
complaining
courtyard.
about Su Jin.
She was very
Aren't I
puzzled by
fine now?
Yuan Xiaojie's agreement.
Sima
But she
Yue
was
wanted
more
to reach
happy.
out and touch Little Seven.
This meant that
but she
Yuan
couldn't lift her
Xiaojie
hand.
would no longer restrict her to the
It wasn't
academy.
so troublesome at first.
Su
but
Jin
because
didn't
something
seem to
happened
care.
to Feng,
But when he entered the room,
I had to save
he still
him.
asked Yuan Xiaojie
He's
for
that
the
important
reason.
to you? Why did
You
you
can
agree
even
to
give
her
up your life
request?
for him? When I
Little
went out this
Seven
time,
stared.
I saw that the outside
I didn't
world
expect
was
to
about to
accidentally
change.
enter the chaos world this
Many
time.
people were eyeing her, but if I knew this from
Although
the
her
start,
current
I
strength
wouldn't
was not
hesitate
bad.
to do it. In the eyes of the outside
You don't cherish
world,
your life?
it was still not enough.
I cherish
she
it
can
very
go
much.
through the 4th evolution,
I
she will
still
be
have
much
a lot of
safer.
things to do.
Su Jin's
Naturally,
footsteps
I don't want to
paused.
die early.
Had the outside
Then why
world
are you
become
still
so
doing
chaotic?
this?
Little
The two
Seven
of them entered
sometimes
Sima You's
there are some
courtyard.
unbearable burdens in a
Han Yao
person's
Shuang
life.
stood up and bowed to them.
If the things you have to do are
Dean,
compared to the lives
Master.
of your loved ones,
It's
Sima
not as
Yue
important.
also guessed that the person who came in was the dean. But
Chapter
she thought that he would look
662.
similar to Old Man Devil
After
and the
Sima
others.
Yue
said this.
Who
The
knew
two
that he
people in
was
the
an
room
old man
became
with
silent.
white hair and a beard?
She could not bear the
Yuan
weight of
Xiaojie
life. Seemed to have noticed her
To her,
surprise at her
Shimen
appearance.
Feng
was more important than
He
her life.
smiled and said,
This
if
looks
she
more
lost
like
him,
a principal.
her life would become incomplete.
His thoughts had
Shimen
been seen
Feng,
through, who had just arrived at
Greetings,
the courtyard,
Dean.
blinked a few times to force
She
back
nodded
his
towards
tears,
the courtyard,
then quickly walked inside.
Those two guys said a lot of
Wu
good
Ling
things
stood
about
in
you to me.
place, still thinking about
I don't
her
think
words.
they would speak without thinking.
Could it not bear the weight
Yuan
of life?
Xiaojie said,
So you
when
have
would
to
he
get
be
better
able
to
to
bear
quickly?
the weight of her life force.
I still have things for you to do.
Shimen Feng entered the room, and seeing Sima Yue opened her eyes confused by his
He
words.
affectionately called,
Sister.
What kind of jump was this?
Feng.
He
Sima
wasn't
Yue
here to
saw
visit
the
her,
guilt in his
but to
eyes
find her
and
for
smiled
something,
at him,
indicating that
It was
he
the
should not
first
take
time
it to
they
heart.
met, and he said that he had something
Little
for her
Seven
to do.
looked at Shimen Feng and
Why
then
did she
looked
feel
at
that
Sima
there was
Yue.
something wrong with the way they opened
She
the
curled
door?
her lips.
Ha ha ha. Why was it, sister?
Yuan Xiaojie laughed
Wasn't
when he
she
saw
younger
her
than
dizzy
him?
look.
Han Yao
Then he
Shuang
took
was
out a box
confused
and
as
placed
well,
it beside
but
the
she
bed,
knew how to read
saying,
the atmosphere.
This
is a meeting gift from Master
She knew
Uncle.
that Sima Yue and
Although
Shimin
he had
Feng
left
had
the
something
sect,
to talk about,
he was still a
so
member
she
of the
dragged
sect
little
in his
7
heart.
out.
He looked
Yue,
at Sima
have a good
Yue
rest.
as if she was his junior.
We'll visit you again
Little
later.
7 shrank in from the
Han
outside.
Miao Shuang didn't forget to close
She was
the door
sneaky
when
at
she went
first,
out.
but when she saw the
How
box
is teacher
beside
Go?
Sima Yue's bed,
Sima
she
Yue
screamed
wanted to
and
break
wanted
the
to
silence
rush over.
between the two of them.
But when she passed by
Don't
Yuan
talk.
Xiaojie, he picked her
Shimin
up.
Feng walked over.
That's my meeting gift for
Teacher
you.
Go is fine. Don't even think
You
about
are
it.
the one who is in trouble.
Little 7 struggled
I
and
also,
drooled at the sight
I
of the
told you not
box.
to talk.
You're bad.
Shimin Feng interrupted her
I thought
and
about
continued.
it for a long time.
Teacher
and
Go
you
said
didn't
that
give
your
it to me.
situation is very troublesome.
That thing is useless to you.
Even if you wake up,
you
Yuan
can't use
Xiaojie
your
didn't
brain
let
and
go of
speak
her.
less. But it's delicious.
It's best if you don't talk at all.
Little 7 protested.
Just listen to me.
It's a waste for you
Sima
to eat
Yue
it.
looked at Shimin Feng,
Yuan
who was so
Xiaojie
nervous
said,
and blaming
keep that thing
himself.
away.
She nodded her head, indicating that she would listen to him. Sima Yue looked at the comical scene, but her being like this made Shimin Feng unable to speak the words in his heart. She kept the thing in her spirit pagoda. The two people fell into silence. Once the thing entered her spirit pagoda, after a good while, Shimin Feng opened his mouth. In the future, she was very surprised. If you encounter this kind of situation, she didn't have much use for it now. You're not allowed to use your life to exchange for mine. Gave her a spirit herb that could heal the soul. You are my younger brother. My only family was very effective in healing the soul and was regarded as the most precious among all spirit herbs. Shimin Feng glared at her mouth. If she didn't have the spirit fluid, the latter pursed her lips. This would be the most precious spirit herb she had. She really didn't say anything. But since she didn't open it in front of him, I only have you as my family. She continued to pretend that she didn't know what it was. Shimin Feng's eyes turned red again. You said you had something to do with me just now. It's not urgent. I wanted to say something. We'll talk about it when you've recovered and returned to the academy. She swallowed her words. Yuan Xiaojie said, Elder sister, you've been protecting me since the beginning. This time to return to the academy. Experience such a dangerous thing. Old Su, come back in the future. It's my turn to protect you. I should check on your homework. Shimin Feng held her hand and said, I'm not going back. Sima Yue nodded and smiled. I want to be with little Yu. She understood Shimin Feng's feelings continued to because she had experienced the feeling of watching him sacrifice to break free. Once she escaped from Yuan Xiaojie's demonic grasp, she ran towards Sima Yue and pouted her little mouth because he saw her weak appearance and wanted her to have a good rest. Smiled and left with a bitter Su Jin. Su Jin looked at little Seven enviously. If only he didn't have to go back. Once they left, little Seven immediately looked at Sima Yue with shining eyes. Sima Yue patted little Seven's head and said, This was given to me by the courtyard. And it's useless to you. But it's the only thing that tastes good. Little Seven said. Master, this spirit herb still has its roots and soil. It can be planted. Little Spirit suddenly transmitted to her. Then plant it. Sima Yue instructed. Then she said to Little Seven, I can give you a little, but I can't let you eat it all. Okay. Little Seven smiled and nodded. Sima Yue took out the box and opened it. She saw a little herb with a few stems and leaves lying inside. She thought for a while and plucked all the stems and leaves. Only the stems and roots were left. Then she gave the stems and leaves to Little Seven. Yu, you're the best. Little Seven took the spirit herb and kissed her on the face. Then she ran out quickly. Han Miao Shuang saw that Sima Yue gave most of it to Little Seven and said reproachfully, Even if you like her, you have to give it to her. Don't always spoil her. She likes it. Sima Yue smiled. She didn't mind. She kept the spirit herb and put it back. Little Spirit took it and planted it. The roots of the spirit herb were well preserved. It could grow stems and leaves after planting. That was why she could be so generous and give it to Little Seven to play with. But Han Miao Shuang didn't know. Seeing her like this, she shook her head helplessly. Chapter 664. Sima Yue had been recuperating for a few days. With the help of the soul fluid, she had recovered quite a bit. She no longer needed to be pinned down by them. She couldn't figure it out. Her soul was clearly injured, so why didn't they allow her to use the lullaby and force her to stay inside? Thinking about how she had been lying on the bed for so long, she roared in her heart more than once, this is not scientific. After a week, she could finally lie down. She felt that if she continued lying down, she would really become moldy. Today, with Shimin Feng's support, she finally stepped out of the room and walked into the courtyard. The air outside is still fresh. She took a deep breath and felt much more satisfied. You said that we wouldn't let you out, but look at you, you're already panting after taking a few steps. I told you to lie down for 2 more days, but you didn't listen. Shimin Feng said discontentedly. Feng, if I continue to lie down, I will grow hair, do you know? Sima Yue laid down on the chaise lounge in the courtyard, and Shimin Feng sat down beside her. Can humans grow hair? You are not a monster. Shimin Feng helplessly covered Sima Yue with a blanket. Because her soul was injured, she was especially afraid of the cold, so Shimin Feng specially prepared a blanket for her. Oh right, I haven't seen Xiang Yi recently? Sima Yue asked. Shimin Feng's hand slightly paused, and said in a deep voice, she had something to do and left. Is it because you were ambushed last time? Sima Yue narrowed her eyes and asked casually. Shimin Feng was silent for a while, but still answered honestly, yes. Looks like you know who did it? Yes. Well, now that we know who did it, let's get back at them. Sima Yue curled up in the blanket. We are not people who can be bullied. If you provoke them, I'll let Little Rock lead the bird clan to crush them. I guarantee that there will be feathers all over the ground. Shimin Feng speechlessly glared at her. You're still hiding here. That's why we shouldn't let them off so easily. Sima Yue thought about how she almost lost her brother and Feng, almost lost her. She was furious and wanted to kill those people herself. Don't worry, I won't spare those people. Shimin Feng gnashed his teeth and said. Feng, have you ever thought of building your own force? Sima Yue suddenly asked. Build a force of my own? That's right. Although you were rescued from the Kong Valley, you didn't join the Kong Valley. You can't be considered a proper member of the Kong Valley. Sima Yue said, besides, we have to deal with more than 1 or 2 enemies. We can't defeat them alone. That's right. Whether it's the Zhongzheng clan or the Yin Yang Palace, or even the Sage Pavilion behind them, which one of them isn't powerful? Cough cough. Sima Yue coughed a few times and waited for her to calm down before continuing. Although I have Little Rock and am also the Junior Valley Master of the Divine Devil Valley, we can't involve them in our personal vengeance. The Bird Clan and the Divine Devil Valley have no obligation to help us take revenge. So the best way is to build our own force. Actually, I've thought of this as well. But it's too difficult to build a force. First of all, we don't have enough resources. So it's just an idea. Shimin Feng said. If we want to build a force, it's not something that can be done in a day. But it's not like we don't have a way. Sima Yue said, a force needs alchemists, armament masters, array masters and beast tamers the most. Other than armament masters, I can take a look at the rest. With the spirit pagoda, these aren't a problem. As for armament masters, since I'm free now, I'll study it when I have time. Fatty said that it's not difficult. Then have you ever thought of letting them join in? Shimin Feng asked. Sima Yue shook her head. I want to use this force for revenge. If they join in, I'm afraid that they'll get into trouble. I won't ask them to join, but I won't hide it from them either. Actually, it's better if they join us. That way, we won't be lacking in these occupation masters. Shimin Feng said. Although I think so too, but... Sigh, let's ask them for their opinion. Sima Yue said. Other than occupation masters, we don't have anything else. Shimin Feng said, especially the most important resource for a sect, the ore mine. We don't even have it. Now that all the ore mines have been taken over by various sects, it's easier said than done to find another ore mine. Sima Yue wasn't anxious and said, have you forgotten that I have another identity? Seeker Spirit Master? That's right. She said confidently, so what if all the ore mines have been taken over? We'll just find an ore mine that no one has discovered yet. Seeing that Shimin Feng was stunned and obviously didn't believe her, she took out a book and flipped to the first page for him to see. Soul Seeking the Source? Shimin Feng saw the title of the book and exclaimed softly. With this, why can't your sister become a Seeker Spirit Master? Heh, kid, don't look down on your sister, understand? She kept the book and reached out to poke his forehead. Moreover, even if I can't do it, we can find third MO. What's there to worry about? But we can't find an ore mine in such a short time. Shimin Feng said, even if you can find it in the future, there must be people who are willing to join our force. But this is a newly established force. How can we let others join us? How can we make them work for us wholeheartedly? Sima Yue voiced out Shimin Feng's worries. Yes. Shimin Feng nodded. Establishing a force is different from our previous clan. The people in the clan will naturally be willing to work hard for the clan, but those people might not. Even if we give them pills and spiritual weapons to support them, they might still drop the ball when the time comes. So we can't use ordinary people. Sima Yue smiled. Can't use ordinary people? Shimin Feng was confused by his own words. If he understood what she meant before, he didn't understand what she meant now. Yes, if we can't use ordinary people, then we'll use extraordinary people. Sima Yue smiled. Who are the extraordinary people? Those who want to die but don't want to. As long as they can live, they will do whatever it takes. And we are the condition for them to live. Sima Yue said. Shimin Feng immediately understood what she meant. You want to look for those fugitives? That's right. Sima Yue nodded. Those fugitives are capable if they can survive. Even if they can't fight against 10 people, they can fight against 4, 5, 6, or 7 people. Your idea is good, but if we want these people, firstly, they might not be willing. Secondly, their old enemies will become our hidden danger. Happy reading every day. Chapter 665. Sima Yue had also thought about the 2 points mentioned by Shimin Feng. He was right. Since these people were outlaws, it was not easy to get them to join her force. Not to mention that if she accepted them, she would have to pay for what they did in the past. Let's leave this matter to the future. She saw Shimin Feng frown and said, actually, it's not like there's no way to solve this problem. Have you thought of a solution? Shimin Feng looked at her expectantly. In the past, whenever he encountered a problem, he would tell her and she would always be able to come up with a solution quickly. It would be great if we could expand our forces so much that no one would dare to challenge us. Sima Yue said. Shimin Feng's eyes lit up as he smiled and said, you still have a way. As long as they developed their forces to the point where others would not dare to touch them easily, even if they knew that their enemies were here, who would dare to come and cause trouble? When the time came, they would step forward to mediate, and those old grudges would be resolved. If he really couldn't resolve it, then he would just go overboard. In any case, you might dare to hunt down one person, but would you dare to hunt down the entire force? Of course, who's older? Sima Yue said proudly. Yes, you're the boss. Shimin Feng smiled and said, since we've decided, then we still have to prepare resources in the early stages. Otherwise, when those people come, we won't have anything for them to cultivate with. Yes, we can plan this out first. Sima Yue said, I'm still a student of the academy, so I don't have much time. I'll have to rely on you for the preparation and the rest. Don't worry, I will take care of these things. Shimin Feng said. I've always been assured of your mobility. Sima Yue reached out and patted Shimin Feng's head, just like in the past. However, it's best to keep this matter a secret, so the Kong Valley, I know how to tell them. But I'm afraid Xiang Yi won't be so easy to convince. Shimin Feng said. Xiang Yi is a good girl. What do you think of her? If you're interested, we'll marry her. Although our Shimin clan only has you, but just based on this point of Little Peng, you are more than enough to match the young miss of Kong Valley. If you're not interested in her, you should make it clear as soon as possible so that she won't waste her time with you. Sima Yue looked at him meaningfully. I understand. Shimin Feng said. What do you mean by understand? Do you understand your own feelings, or do you understand what I'm saying? Sima Yue beamed. Tell me, do you like me? Sis, why are you asking this? We are talking about establishing a force. Shimin Feng said awkwardly. Of course I'm concerned about you. Sima Yue retracted her hand and said, you are the only one left in the Shimin clan. You have to bear the heavy responsibility of carrying on the family line. It would be best to give birth to a nest of children, and then they would give birth to another nest of children, and the sooner Shimin Feng's family develops, the better. Sis, what happened that year really wasn't your fault. Don't blame yourself too much. Shimin Feng suddenly said. The smile on Sima Yue's face slowly disappeared. She leaned back on the chair and let the sun shine on her face. She closed her eyes and tears suddenly fell. If it wasn't for me, if it wasn't for me. She was still brooding over what happened that year, and it was impossible for her to truly let it go. Even if all her enemies were dealt with, and the Zongjing clan and Yin Yang Palace were destroyed, she still wouldn't be able to let it go. Because those who passed away would never come back. Her peaceful and beautiful life would never come back. Sis, if father and mother knew that you always blame yourself, even if they are in the ghost realm, they would be worried. Shimin Feng said. Sima Yuyue suddenly opened her eyes and looked straight at Shimin Feng. That gaze made the latter a little scared. Why are you looking at me like that? Ghost realm, you just said the ghost realm. Sima Yuyue said, after a person dies, their soul will enter the ghost realm. Then father and mother also went to the ghost realm? Could they have survived? This isn't quite possible. Shimin Feng said uncertainly. Doesn't that mean it's possible? Sima Yuyue said. Maybe. Shimin Feng said, we don't know much about the ghost realm. We don't know if a soul can survive there. We also don't know if a person can go there if they are not dead. After Shimin Feng said that, Sima Yuyue's eyes dimmed a little. She didn't say anything else. Just then, there was a movement at the entrance of the courtyard. The two of them looked up and saw Kong Sengyi walking in from outside. Yuyue, are you feeling better? Kong Sengyi walked over and put his face in front of Sima Yuyue. He looked at her carefully and said, your face is so pale, and your eyes are so lifeless. Why haven't you recovered after such a long time? It's the most troublesome for us cultivators to injure our soul. Luckily, it's not impossible to recover. Sima Yuyue said. Are you comforting me? Even if you say that, I still feel very guilty. If it wasn't for us, Feng wouldn't have broken the seal. If he didn't fall into such a dangerous situation, you wouldn't have exhausted your consciousness and entered the chaotic world. Kong Sengyi said with self-blame. Feng chose to break the seal. You don't have to blame yourself. Sima Yuyue said, besides, aren't we all fine? She saw Shimin Feng's reaction just now. She knew him so well, how could she not know what he was thinking? Since they were all family in the future, and the matter of the seal was decided by Shimin Feng himself, how could she blame him? Kong Sengyi didn't think so. She cupped her fist and said seriously, in the future, Xiang Yi's life is your life. Whatever you want me to do, as long as it doesn't hurt the Kong Valley, Xiang Yi will do it. Don't say that. If you don't do it, Feng will hate me to death. We'll be family in the future. Sima Yuyue teased. What nonsense are you talking about? Kong Sengyi glared at Sima Yuyue. What, you don't want to be family with me and Feng Or Feng won't hate me? Sima Yuyue said and looked at Shimin Feng. I wanted to let Feng propose to the Kong Valley when the time is right. It seems like you're not willing. Feng, since Xiang Yi isn't willing, don't force her. I'm not unwilling. Kong Sengyi quickly denied. That means you're willing. Sima Yuyue laughed. Seeing Kong Sengyi's red face, she laughed even more happily. Yuyue, if you continue to tease me, I'll ignore you in the future. Kong Sengyi was embarrassed by her words and threatened. You can ignore me? You have to call me sister in the future. If you ignore me, don't you want to follow Feng Shimin Feng saw that Kong Sengyi wanted to dig a hole in the ground after hearing Sima Yuyue's words. He stood up and carried Sima Yuyue, saying, You've been out for so long today. It's time to go back. Sima Yuyue nestled in Shimin Feng's arms. Feng, don't forget sister when you have a wife in the future. Happy reading every day. Chapter 666. Kong Sengyi blushed when he heard Sima Yuyue's words. She didn't expect that Shimin Feng would help her out. Thinking of what Sima Yuyue said, she felt that she didn't know how to face him. She thought to herself that she should leave first, but she had something to ask of him, so she could only wait in the courtyard with a red face. Shimin Feng carried Sima Yuyue to the bed and covered her with a blanket. I know that Xiang Yi is looking for you. Go ahead. Sima Yuyue said to Shimin Feng after lying down. Teasing was just teasing. Kong Xiang Yi, who had left for so long to investigate that matter, must have brought back some news that she needed to discuss with Shimin Feng. Shimin Feng had also guessed it. He tucked her in and warned, lie down properly. If you want to go out, I'll take you out to get some sun tomorrow. Okay, Sima Yuyue replied. Shimin Feng went out, and when he opened the door, he heard her say, if you want to go out, take Little Peng with you. All right. Shimin Feng knew that if he wanted to bring Little Rock along, there would definitely be a bunch of old birds following him, or he might even be able to find some local bird clan to accompany him. She was worried about him. She had guessed that the person who had injured them back then was quite powerful. She knew that they were going to take revenge. Even if they couldn't completely eradicate the other party, they would at least make a big move that would make the other party spit out a mouthful of blood. Little Peng didn't need to personally go to the battlefield, but the same couldn't be said for the people around him to protect their master. Especially Sima Yoyue's accident this time, it was all because she forced Shimin Feng to remove the seal. Therefore, Little Peng and the others also wanted to avenge Sima Yuyue. Sima Yuyue understood what Little Peng and the others were thinking. That was why she said those words. She thought of the worried look in Shimin Feng's eyes before he left and sighed faintly. Alas, it's really troublesome to injure the soul and divine sense. She wasn't someone who could calm down easily. Now that she had to lie down like this every day, she was really suffering. Shimin Feng came to the courtyard. When Kong Sangyi saw him, the blush that had just been pushed down quietly reappeared. She's just bored these days, so she's joking with you. Shimin Feng saw her like this and subconsciously explained. Then what do you think? Although Kong Sangyi's face was very hot, he still firmly stared at Shimin Feng's eyes. There were only the two of them, and he understood her thoughts. Naturally, she would want to get a response. He had her in his heart. After so many years of feelings, he had finally reciprocated. But if she didn't have him, what would he do? Give up? No. She liked him, so she wouldn't give up easily. If he really didn't have her in his heart, then she would always be by his side and let him only have her in his eyes. She would get what she wanted one day, right? Although she had already mentally prepared herself, her heart still couldn't help but speed up. Would he answer her? Or avoid it like before? Unexpectedly, Shimin Feng stretched out his hand and gently tucked her hair that was blown up by the wind behind her ear. Then he said, my current status is naturally not worthy of you. Kong Sangyi's heart that was originally jumping because of his action, suddenly fell to the bottom. It was still the same answer, but he had just tucked her hair, which was an improvement compared to before. She still wanted to encourage herself in her heart, but Shimin Feng's voice sounded again. Shimin Feng took back his hand and said, if I want to be with you, naturally I have to have a status that is worthy of you. But this may take a long time. Are you willing to wait? Her heart that had just sunk to the bottom suddenly floated up. Looking at Shimin Feng's serious expression, she suddenly cried tears of joy. She hugged him and cried out in surprise, I'm willing to wait for you. No matter how long it takes, I'll wait for you. Ah, Feng, I'm so happy. I'm really so happy. I thought that you didn't have me in your heart. What should I do? I'm so happy that I'm about to die. Kong Sangyi was used to being arrogant and despotic in front of outsiders. Kong Sangyi was used to seeing him as the master by his side. Seeing this excited little woman who didn't know what to do, his usually cold face couldn't help but soften a lot. Cough cough. Jing Wen, who came in from outside, saw the two people in the courtyard and coughed twice. Kong Sangyi immediately let go of Shimin Feng. She wanted to stick to Shimin Feng, but she knew that he didn't like to be like this in front of others. You two are here whispering sweet nothings to each other. Have you said anything serious? Jing Wen walked over and casually asked. Seeing that the two of them were somewhat unnatural, he knew that they definitely didn't say anything. He knew it. Jing Wen, you're here? Sima Yoyue's voice came from the house. She still had that kind of weak appearance. Since you're back, why don't you come in and chat with me? Sure. Jing Wen excitedly walked into the house. After taking a few steps, he didn't forget to turn back and say to the two of them, since you two want to be ching-ching, I'll say something serious first. You already know that they want to whisper sweet nothings to each other. Hurry up and come in. Sima Yuyue shouted from inside the house. Aya, aren't I here now? Jing Wen pushed open the door and went in. He didn't close the door. Although he wasn't here often these days, his relationship with Sima Yuyue had improved a lot. When that **** came back from the academy, she didn't know who Jing Wen was. But seeing him take Shimin Feng's pulse, she guessed that he should be a doctor. Later on, when she asked him to help her, it was indeed confirmed. Later on, when she woke up, she found out that he was the one Kong Sangyi said that the heart protection pill was effective for Feng. And the heart protection pill was made by him personally. So he was also an alchemist. At first, she thought that Jing Wen was from the Kong Valley. Later on, she found out that he was just a friend of Shimin Feng and Kong Sangyi, the kind that had a good relationship. Since he was her brother's good friend, she also treated him as a friend. So when she woke up and Jing Wen came to see her, she would talk about medicine or alchemy with him. Jing Wen originally admired her a lot, but after interacting with her a few times, he admired her even more. Because he didn't know that Sima Yuyue was a girl, he often went to chat with her. And Shimin Feng couldn't say it out loud, so he told him not to close the door every time he went into the house. Jing Wen felt that his request was a bit strange, but he still agreed. Now that he heard Sima Yuyue call him in for a chat, he naturally ran over. After being teased again, Kong Sangyi was really embarrassed. Shimin Feng looked at Sima Yoyue's door and said lightly, let's talk outside. When it came to serious matters, Kong Sangyi changed into her usual self, nodded and followed him out. They left Sima Yoyue's courtyard and came to a place where there was no one. Shimin Feng then asked, what did you find out this time? Chapter 667. Kong Sangyi handed over the information he had found to Shimin Feng and said, at that time, other than Lan Fang sect, there were also people from 10,000 Red Cloud sect who attacked us. How did these two sects get together? Shimin Feng looked at the information in his hands and was a little surprised. Are you surprised? Kong Sangyi said, on the surface, the Thousand Clouds sect seems to be on good terms with our Kong Valley. Who would have thought that they would have such intentions towards us behind our backs? I think they're working together because of the ore vein we found last time. And I didn't think that the matter of the mine would be leaked out. I'm afraid that the Kong Valley will have more trouble in the future. Shimin Feng said, have you found out who leaked the news of our whereabouts and the mine? We've already found out. Father and the others have dealt with him. Kong Sangyi said, the mineral vein that we discovered is indeed enviable, but if anyone wants to touch us, it won't be that easy. This time, we lost because we weren't prepared. We even put you and Yuyue in danger. Now that we're prepared, it won't be so easy for them to succeed. Aside from this, what else did you come here for today? Shimin Feng asked. Yes. Kong Sangyi said, we found out that the young lord of the Lanfang sect will be leaving the sect today. Are you interested in eliminating him? Was he also one of the people who surrounded us? Lanfang sect is led by him. When are we leaving? Now. What's the rush? We are going to set up an ambush in advance. The people from Lanfang sect are about to set off. Alright, give me a moment. Shimin Feng wanted to look for Little Rock, but Sima Yuyue had instructed him to bring him along if he wanted to leave. But before he could take 2 steps, he saw Little Rock leading a group of people over. Yuyu said that you will definitely leave. We will go with you. Little Rock said. Shimin Feng was surprised to see the people beside Little Rock. Weren't they in the Spirit Pagoda? How did they come out? Could it be that the Spirit Pagoda was exposed in front of Jing Wen? Jing Wen only stayed in the house for a while before he was chased away by Yu Yu. Little Peng explained. Alright, follow me. Let's go. Kong Sengyi took out a temporary formation and activated it on the ground. Then, he led the group out of Tianfu City. Sima Yuyue couldn't feel the movements outside, but she guessed that Shimin Feng and the others had already left. Lying on the bed, she thought about what Jing Wen had just told her. He said, Yuyue, hurry up and get better. This way, we can go to the alchemist conference in Fengle City together. She did not have much interest in this alchemy conference, but the words that he said after that made her a little interested. It's just an alchemy assembly. What are you so excited about? Of course I'm excited. This time, the Fengle City's alchemist assembly will hold a competition. I heard that many alchemy geniuses will participate. Jing Wen was very excited when he said this. I don't know those people, so I'm not interested. Sima Yuyue yawned. I heard that many alchemists from the inner regions are also coming. Jing Wen said. Why are you so excited about the inner circle coming? Don't tell me they aren't people with one nose and two ears. This is something you don't understand. Jing Wen said mysteriously, the inner circle's alchemy techniques are different from ours. If we participate, we can watch them refine pills. Oh. Sima Yuyue thought that he was excited about something. She didn't think that he was just curious about alchemy techniques. It's a pity that even if you see it a few times, as long as no one teaches you the principles, you won't be able to learn it. You just say, oh, and that's it? Jing Wen was very dissatisfied with Sima Yuyue's reaction. If it was before, I might have gone to join in the fun. But now, I feel that the most important thing for me is to increase my strength. Sima Yuyue said. You can slowly increase your strength, but this alchemist assembly doesn't happen every day. Especially on such a large scale. It might not even happen once in a few decades. Oh, I'm still young. I can wait until the next time. Sima Yuyue said, besides, I'm now a student of the academy. I can't go just because I want to. The heavenly sect also wants to participate. Jing Wen said. Sima Yuyue was a little interested. She looked up at him and said, you know a lot. Of course. Jing Wen said proudly, not only do I know that the heavenly sect will be going this time, I also know that they have participated before and lost. But they seem to place a lot of importance on this assembly. I think they have something against someone. Sima Yuyue pondered in her heart. Could this be what Yuan Shaojie wanted her to do? Let her participate and then come back with a ranking. The more she thought about it, the more she felt that it was possible. But it might not be so, so she didn't show it on her face. Then when will the assembly be held? There's still a year. Jing Wen said, so if you want to participate, you have to get better within a year. As alchemists, our consciousness is the most important. But it's the most troublesome to recover from an injury to the consciousness. It also takes a long time. Your injury is so serious. If you want to fully recover, I'm afraid it will take you a year and a half. This can't be rushed. Sima Yuyue said now. But you're right. You're still so young. Even if you participate next time, your age should still be within the range. Jing Wen comforted her. There's an age limit? Of course there is. This is the industry's rule. The people who participate in the alchemy assembly may be of all ages. But the people who participate in the competition are only under 200 years old. Jing Wen said, my age this time is just right. If I wait for the next time, I will be over the age limit. Sima Yuyue looked at Jing Wen up and down. Then she faintly spat out a sentence, so you're not talking about old monsters. Old monsters? Did he look that old? Sima Yuyue laid on the bed and thought about whether or not this was what Yuan Shaojie was talking about. But she couldn't think of an answer. She was too lazy to think about it. Little Seven ran in from outside and she played with her for a while. Little Seven, you seem to be very afraid of Principal Yuan? When Little Seven heard Yuyue mention Yuan Shaojie, she pouted and said, I can't beat him. He always locks me in a black room. I don't like black rooms. He also doesn't allow me to leave the academy. Until now, a part of her body was still in that black room. But she didn't plan to say this out loud. She didn't want Yue to think that she was a monster. Locked in a black room? Could it be that this principal also abused children? This shouldn't be. Master and martial uncle didn't say that he had such a hobby. Then was he protecting little Seven? Could it be that little Seven was in danger outside? Although she didn't know what little Seven was, but since Principal Yuan didn't allow her to leave the academy, it should be very dangerous outside. But, why did he allow little Seven to follow her outside? Chapter 668. Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Godly Doctor. Chapter 668, Sleep and You Advance in Level. Chapter 668, Sleep and You Advance in Level. She called out a scarlet bee and said, Little Seven, can you bring it with you wherever you go? Bring the little bee? Little Seven took the scarlet bee. She had a good impression of this kind of spirit beasts that could transmit information. She took it and placed it on her hair. The scarlet bee held on to her hair and did not move. It looked like a hairpin. This is my scarlet bee. I have made a contract with their king. It will be with you. If you meet with any danger, you must inform me immediately. Sima Yue explained. Little Seven's heart was moved. She knew that Yu was really good to her. She was really worried that she would be in danger. Although she guessed that her identity would bring her trouble, she didn't chase her away. Instead, she kept the scarlet bees by her side. She touched the scarlet bee on her head and truly accepted her. If she had stayed by her side with a purpose in the past, now she really wanted to be with her. Little Seven, you can play in the courtyard. Don't run around. I'm a little tired, I'll sleep for a while. Sima Yue felt tired and quickly fell asleep. Little Seven knew that Sima Yue slept more after she was injured because she would feel tired after waking up for a while. She thought for a while and got down from the bed. She stood beside the bed and bit her finger. She dripped her blood into Sima Yue's mouth. 1 drop, 2 drops, 3 drops. She dripped 9 drops until Yue could not take it anymore. Only then did she retract her hand. Yu, who was sleeping, felt as if she was trapped in a cocoon and couldn't move. Suddenly, she felt as if she had drunk a sweet fruit juice. It tasted so good that she even smacked her lips twice. That fragrant smell cleared up her muddled mind, and the shackles on her body disappeared. She broke out of the cocoon that had wrapped around her. Little Seven sat on the stool and watched as Sima Yue advanced in level. She felt that her divine sense had recovered and smiled in satisfaction. Although Sima Yue was in a deep sleep, the sound of her advancement woke her up. She quickly sat up and crossed her legs. She entered a state of cultivation and successfully advanced in level. She opened her eyes and saw Little Seven sitting on the stool opposite her and smiling at her. She was confused by the situation in front of her. I advanced in level? Little Seven nodded. You're not dreaming? Little Seven shook her head. How did I advance in level? I don't know, you advanced in your sleep. Little Seven said. Did he just advance while sleeping? Sima Yue was speechless at this statement. Was there anyone who could advance in rank while sleeping? The answer was no. My divine sense is much better. She found that her spiritual sense had improved a lot. Previously, she was always very tired, but now she felt refreshed. Of course, there was still a long way to go before he fully recovered. However, compared to the 2 months he had been in a coma, it was much better. She glanced at Little Seven. Did her advancement have anything to do with her? She didn't believe that she advanced in her sleep. She smelled a faint fragrance in her breath. It was the same smell as in her dream. Little Seven must have fed her something to advance in level. Thank you, Little Seven. She said gratefully. Hee hee. Little Seven smiled. She didn't admit or deny what she did. She knew that Yuyue wouldn't ask her if she didn't say anything. It wasn't that she didn't want to tell Yuyue her identity. She felt that if Yuyue knew, Yuyue wouldn't treat her like this. She would either be careful or have other intentions. She liked the way things were now. Sima Yuyue didn't continue asking. She felt her own strength and felt that she had advanced too quickly. She stayed in the Ninth Star Ocean for less than a year. With the help of her godfather, she advanced from a high-level divine king to a high-level divine overlord. Now, only 3 months had passed and she had broken through divine overlord and entered divine emperor. This speed was faster than a rocket. Although she had advanced by a large level, her beasts hadn't. They had just advanced and needed more power. One advancement wasn't enough for them to advance again. But they still gained a lot of power. She believed that if Sima Yuyue advanced again, they wouldn't be far off. First level divine emperor. She really wanted to go to the spirit pagoda to test the power of a divine emperor. But with little Seven here, she could only think about it. Sima Lai and the others felt the energy waves and rushed to her courtyard. She was injured, so she shouldn't be the one to advance. Shiman Feng and the others had left, so it definitely wouldn't be them. So they were worried that someone had come here by mistake. They were even more worried that that person would hurt Yuyue. But when they came to the courtyard and saw Sima Yuyue, they were stunned. That aura that hadn't stabilized, wasn't it a high-level divine emperor? She advanced to divine emperor? Yuyue, were you the one who advanced? Yinlan asked uncertainly. Yes. Sima Yuyue smiled. You. How did you advance? Weren't you injured? Sima Yuyue thought about it and said, I don't know. I just fell asleep and advanced. Pfft, everyone was stunned. She could advance while sleeping? Ha ha ha, no matter how you advanced, it's good as long as you advanced. Sima Lai laughed, has your divine sense recovered? Not completely, but it's no big deal. Sima Yuyue said with a smile, there's still some left. I just need to recuperate. They all knew that she had spirit fluid. Recuperating was to nourish her. Good. Good. It's good as long as you're fine. Sima Lai was very happy. Sima Yuyue's previous appearance really made his heart ache. She looked very weak and listless. It was better to be like this now. Yinlan, Seng Muyu and Bei Gongheng were also happy for her after their initial shock. Sima Lai was right. No matter how she advanced, as long as it wasn't an unorthodox method, it was good. You look better now. Yuyue, you have to be more careful next time. Don't do such dangerous things again. Yinlan looked at Sima Yuyue as if she was her own daughter. She was injured and unconscious, and her heart ached. I will be careful next time. Sima Yuyue said. She would be careful next time, and not overdraw her divine sense so much before entering the chaotic world. Originally, when her divine sense was exhausted, she would be fine after resting for a month or so. But because she entered the chaotic world, she couldn't recover in a year or so. She glanced at the sky and felt that there were some fluctuations in the air. Her divine sense hadn't fully recovered, but it was still stronger than normal people. She could still feel the fluctuations even though they were so close. The space tunnel opened, and a group of people walked out. When they saw Sima Yuyue in the courtyard, they rushed over, read, please remember our address, download, please go to. Chapter 669. Sima Yuyue caught Shui Qing Man who threw herself at her and asked curiously, Godmother, why are you here? I heard that you were injured and unconscious, so I came to see you. How are you? Shui Qing Man let go of Sima Yuyue and sized her up. I'm fine. I'm almost fully recovered. Sima Yuyue allowed her to examine her body. Godmother, it's not time for you to take the pills yet. How did you hear that I was injured? Because something happened, we sent someone to look for you. In the end, he went back and said that you were injured and unconscious. Shui Qing Man said. Did something happen in the clan? Did you fight with someone? Sima Yuyue asked with concern. Yes. Shui Qingman said. Yuyue, since they are here to visit you, let's talk inside. Sima Lai reminded her. Shui Qingman let go of Sima Yuyue and smiled at Sima Lai. You are Yuyue's grandfather, right? I'm her adoptive mother. According to seniority, I should call you uncle. The corners of Wu Luxiu's and the others' mouths twitched. Mother had lowered their seniority just like that? He walked over to Sima Yuyue and asked, what happened to you? The messenger said that you were very serious and scared us. Imperial Mother said that she wanted to come, but at that time, the war was urgent and she couldn't come. It was a little dangerous at that time, but it's fine now. Sima Yuyue said, did you guys fight with others? If that's the case, why are you still here? With father, big brother, and second brother around, it'll be fine. Furthermore, we are currently stuck in a stalemate. It doesn't matter if we come out for a while, Ural said. Big brother and the others said that if it weren't for the war, they would have come to see you. Wu Luxiu said. Let's go inside and talk. Sima Yuyue held Shui Qingman's arm and brought them into her house. She introduced them to each other. Child, tell me what happened to you at that time. Who injured you? Let your brothers take revenge for you. Shui Qingman patted Sima Yuyue's hand and asked. Godmother, no one hurt me. I was careless and entered the chaotic world. Sima Yuyue said embarrassedly. How did you enter the chaos world? Don't try to fool us. Tell us everything. How should I put it? When I made a deal with Big Brother, I exchanged the Black Sea cucumber to save my brother. You all know about this. Sima Yuyue said. I heard from your big brother. Shui Qingman said, is this related to your injury this time? Originally, it had nothing to do with me. Sima Yuyue continued, Feng accidentally entered a place and a strange force entered his body. Later on, I sealed it. In the past, I collected medicinal herbs in order to destroy the power in his body. Since it's sealed, it shouldn't be difficult to deal with it. Why would it put you in danger? It wasn't dangerous at first. Sima Yuyue said, but someone surrounded and attacked them. At that time, the situation was urgent. He broke the seal and released that force. The situation became very urgent. When I was saving him, I used up all my divine sense. That's why I accidentally entered the chaotic world. You're really something. Even if you want to save someone, you should know your limits. How could you put yourself in danger? Shui Qingman said. That accusing gaze made Yuyue admit defeat. Yes, yes, yes. I'll take note next time. It's all because of those people who surrounded and attacked Feng. If it wasn't for them, there wouldn't be so many problems. Wu Luxiu said hatefully. That's right. Wu Laier agreed. Do you know who attacked you? Feng, and the others have already gone to investigate. We don't have to get involved. Sima Yuyue said, you said you fought with someone just now. What's going on? It's all because of those stinky eel clan. Previously, we were busy saving Mother and the entire clan kept a low profile. But because of that, those eel clan forgot who was the boss of the sea. Wu Luxiu said. You guys fought just like that? When we sent you off, we caught a few stinky eels. They actually sent people to investigate. The last time you advanced, they already caught a few. This time, Father got angry and brought people to talk to them. In the end, the discussion fell through and they started fighting. You guys kept a low profile all these years, but your strength didn't decrease much. How did you guys end up in a tug of war with the Eel clan? Sima Yuyue didn't understand. When she was in the Ninth Star Ocean, she understood some of the powers around the Violet Water clan. This Eel clan was definitely not a match for the Violet Water clan. Because they colluded with the Water Dragon clan. Wu Laier said, the Water Dragon clan is slightly weaker than us. But with the two clans colluding together, it's still difficult for us to win. Luckily, you left us a lot of pills before you left, so we haven't lost yet. But these pills are almost used up. Then how long can you guys stay this time? Sima Yue asked. About 10 days. Shui Qing Man said, this was originally our estimated time. But since you're fine, we plan to go back earlier. Adoptive mother, since you guys are here, then you guys should wait a while. We'll refine some pills for you guys to bring back. Sima Yue said. Your injuries haven't healed yet. Wu Laxiu said disapprovingly. My consciousness has already recovered by more than half. Although it's not as good as before, it's still not a problem to refine these pills. I'm already at the stage where practice makes perfect. Sima Yue said. Forget it. If you're like this, we'll feel sorry for you too. Shui Qing Man said. Adoptive mother, don't worry. I won't put myself in danger again. Sima Yue said, I'll go back to the academy and find my friends to refine pills with me. That way, we'll have more. Adoptive mother, this is your first time on land, right? You guys can treat this place as your home. You can let Auntie Lan and the rest bring you around the streets. Mother, since 10th brother has already said so, let's stay. Wu Laxiu said, didn't you say last time that you wanted to see how humans live? We can take a good look around here. Alright then. But we can't wait too long. Shui Qing Man was originally worried about Sima Yue. Now that she saw that she was doing well, she started to worry about the 9th star ocean. Alright then, I'll accompany you guys at home today. Tomorrow, I'll go back and find someone to help. Sima Yue said. On the morning of the second day, she entrusted Shui Qing Man and the rest to Sima Lai and returned to the inner courtyard. After thinking about it, she decided to go to Parting Garden first. Chapter 670. As soon as Sima Yue walked into the yard, Su Xiaoxiao came over with a broom and said excitedly, Junior brother, you're finally back. How are your injuries? I'm feeling much better. Sima Yue said, are you cleaning again? That's right. You didn't see how dirty this courtyard was a few days ago. It was simply unbearable to look at. Originally, Big Brother and I wanted to see you, but we were caught by Master to work for him. Now the principal is back and wants us to work for him, so Big Brother and I have no time to see you. Su Xiaoxiao complained. What did Master ask you to do? Sima Yue asked with a smile. What else can we do? We just have to deal with Principal Yuan's matters. In the end, Principal Yuan came back before we were done. We didn't pass the inspection, so we continued. I had just finished, so I had time to clean the yard. It's too dirty. Sima Yue looked at Xiao Zhao's angry face. His obsessive-compulsive disorder must have caused him a lot of pain recently. Eldest senior brother went to sleep? Yes, he went to sleep as soon as he came back. He hasn't slept for the past few days. He'll probably sleep until the sky turns dark, Su Xiao said. Little junior brother, wait in the courtyard first. I'll tidy up the house for you before you go in. Don't bother. Senior brother, is senior sister here? She should be there. Su Xiaoxing was about to shout towards Han Miao Shuang's house when he was stopped by Sima Yue. Senior brother, don't shout. I'll go find her myself. She covered his mouth and said. All right then. Go ahead. I'll continue to clean up the yard. Su Xiaoxiao left with the broom. Sima Yue went to Han Miao Shuang's house. This guy had been dragged back to work for the past few days and was now sleeping soundly in the house. Sima Yue knocked, but Han Miao Shuang ignored her. After some thought, she took out a roasted chicken drumstick and ate it. The person sleeping inside sniffed and immediately opened his eyes. He ran over and opened the door. Ha, I knew you were back. Oh, it smells so good. Is there anything for me? Sima Yue saw that she was still in her pajamas. She entered the room and closed the door. Put on your clothes and wash up first. Although Han Miao Shuang really wanted to eat it, but Sima Yu said that she couldn't eat it if she didn't wash up. Thus, she quickly went to tidy herself up. After she was done, Sima Yu took out a grilled chicken drumstick for her and watched her eat. She then asked, "Are you guys busy recently?" Han Miao Shuang shook her head. "Master won't let us continue doing things now." "Then do me a favor," Sima Yu said. "What do you want us to do for you?" Sima Yu took out a pill formula. Han Miao Shuang glanced at it and was immediately interested. "This is a very ancient pill formula. How did you get it?" "I got it by accident," Sima Yu said. "I need a lot of these pills now. Can you and the seniors help me refine it? This is for the spirit beasts?" Han Miao Shuang guessed it when she saw the herbs. "Yes," Sima Yu said. "How about it? Can we? We haven't refined this before. But this pill's level isn't high. It's only level 6. It shouldn't be a problem to refine it. How much do you need and when do you need it?" Han Miao Shuang said confidently. 10 days. Including today. As for the quantity, the more the better, Sima Yu said. "No problem," Han Miao Shuang promised. Sima Yu took out an interspatial ring. It was filled with the herbs needed to refine this pill. "Go and tell eldest senior brother and third senior brother. If they are willing, you can show them the pill formula," Sima Yu said. "Okay, I'll go and find them now." Han Miao Shuang took the pill formula and was about to leave. Sima Yu pulled her back. "Wait a while before you go. Just now, third senior brother said that you guys just finished. He's tidying up the courtyard. If he doesn't, he will feel uncomfortable all over. Eldest senior brother, let him sleep for a while." "That's fine too." Han Miao Shuang put down the pill formula and sat down to continue eating. "What about you?" "I'm going to find my friends. They know how to refine it too. I'll go with them," Sima Yu said. "Okay, I'll leave it to you. I'll come back in 10 days. Sima Yu left the parting garden and went to find Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei. In the end, both of them weren't there. She could only take out the mother stone to contact them. The two of them came back quickly. "Yue, you're back. I heard that you were injured. Are you okay now?" "I'm fine," Sima Yu said. "I'm looking for you guys." Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei looked at each other. They didn't know why Sima Yu was looking for them. "I've already set up a spirit barrier. Come in with me." Yue brought the two of them into the spirit pagoda after she finished speaking. 10 days later, Sima Yue took a ring full of pills and went out. She went to the array to leave the inner courtyard. The two of them were still guarding there. She took out Su Jin's token and they let her in easily. After she left, the two of them continued to drink, eat, and chat. "Principal Yuan is talking about her, right?" "Should be. Isn't she Su Jin's disciple?" Principal Yuan actually placed his hopes on her. It's a little unimaginable. It's normal for Su Jin's disciple to be unimaginable. I hope she can do it this time. Whether she can do it or not, we can't do anything about it. Come, let's continue drinking. Sima Yue returned home. Shui Qing Man and the others were waiting for her. 10th brother, you're finally back. If you didn't come back, we would have left, Wu Laxiu said. Sima Yue saw that they were a little anxious and asked, "What's wrong? Is there a change in the war?" "Yes. We received news yesterday that the Water Dragon clan is sending troops over. There should be a big battle in the next 2 days," Wu Laxiu said. "We wanted to leave yesterday but we remembered that today was the agreed time so we waited for another day. Since that's the case, I won't keep you guys." Sima Yue took out the space ring and passed it to Shui Qing Man. "Godmother, there are pills inside. Bring them back. They can be put to good use." Shui Qing Man used her divine sense to scan and saw thousands of bottles of pills. She asked curiously, "These were all refined by you guys in the past few days?" Sima Yuyue knew that the number of pills inside would scare her. She explained, "These were all refined by everyone. You know, there are many alchemists in the inner courtyard." "Thank you, child." Shui Qing Man hugged her and opened the space tunnel to leave. Wu La Air and the others also said goodbye to Sima Yuyue and followed her in. Shui Qing Man was very nervous when she received the news. Now that she was back, she was very confident. She believed that with so many pills, they would be able to get through this crisis. Chapter 671. In the Ninth Star Ocean, Third Mo was running with all his might. A few squid behind him swung their long tentacles at him, but he cleverly dodged them. Another tentacle attacked him from the side. He dodged but was caught by another tentacle. "Let's see how you're going to escape now." That squid grabbed Third Mo and waved its tentacles in the water. "Open!" Third Mo shouted. A long sword appeared out of nowhere and pierced towards the tentacle. The long sword was incomparably sharp and directly chopped off the tentacle. Third Mo's body trembled as he struggled free from the tentacle and caught the long sword. Ah! The cuttlefish that had its tentacles cut off swam around in the water. Its other tentacles swung around and hit a few cuttlefish near it. Third Mo took advantage of the chaos and continued to swim upstream. It would be more advantageous for him to get out of the water. He would be restricted underwater. "Stop fighting. Hurry up and chase after that human. Don't let him go to the surface of the sea," a cuttlefish shouted. Only then did the other cuttlefish stop and continue chasing after Third Mo. Third Mo's speed in the water wasn't fast to begin with. In addition to his injuries, the squids quickly caught up to him. The squid surrounded him and said, "Brat, hand over the thing, and we'll let you die a quick death. Since the item is already in my hands, how can I return it to you?" Third Mo raised his sword and faced them. "So many of you have died, yet you still dare to chase after me? Truly a bunch of people who don't fear death." Thinking of their dead clansmen, the cuttlefish retreated. Third Mo snuck into their clan's land and stole the item. Not only was he not killed in the clan's land, he even killed many squids and successfully escaped. However, he was also severely injured. "Don't be scared by him. He's already heavily injured." "He's no match for us," shouted one of the squids. "Let's quickly capture him and bring him back. This place is not far from where the Violet Water Tribe and the Water Dragon Tribe are fighting. If we encounter them, we'll be in trouble." Another one reminded. "Yes, let's attack together. Do you think we're afraid of him? That's right. He is now an arrow at the end of its flight. Everyone, attack together." Third Mo saw that they were not intimidated by his aura, so he made a feint at them and took the opportunity to swim upstream. However, before he could swim 2 meters, he was enveloped by the stench they released. That aura almost suffocated him, and his body became soft. His movements became much slower as well. A few squids surrounded him, and dozens of tentacles intertwined to form a net, enveloping him inside. Then, they spat out a huge bubble, trapping Third Mo inside. As soon as Third Mo entered the bubble, a foul stench assaulted his nostrils. It was even worse than the smell from before. It almost made him vomit out the rice that he had not eaten for a few months. He told himself not to breathe and then gathered all his strength to attack the bubble. But no matter how he attacked and how the bubble changed shape, it would not break. The squid wrapped the bubble with its tentacles and smiled proudly. "So what if you killed so many of our clansmen? Haven't you been captured by us in the end? Ha ha ha, let's go. Since you don't want to hand it over, I can only bring you back and torture you slowly. Who cares how powerful you were before? Now that you're in our clan's territory, just wait to be cut into pieces." Ha ha ha. Third Mo felt that he was about to faint from the smell. That smell seemed to have an anesthetic effect, and his divine sense became more and more blurry. So, An ice arrow suddenly shot out and directly hit the bubble. The bubble that was stuck inside was pierced by the ice arrow. Third Mo seized the opportunity and pulled hard, tearing a hole in the bubble. When the squids saw the ice arrow floating in the water, they were shocked. "That's the Violet Water Clan's little prince's ice arrow. Ha ha ha, it seems like you're not stupid. You know that it's mine." Wu Luxiu swam over with a bow in his hand. There were 3 ice arrows on it. He released the bow and the 3 ice arrows shot towards the squids. Pfff. The 3 squids that were hit by the ice arrows spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground, dead. "Little Prince, what is the meaning of this?" A squid looked at its dead clansman and glared at Wu Luxiu. "I was about to ask you the same thing. Your squid tribe's territory is not here." Wu Luxiu condensed another ice arrow and attached it to his bow. "But this is also not the Violet Water Clan's territory. We are capturing people here. Little Prince, aren't you overstepping your boundaries?" "Is that so?" Wu Luxiu aimed the bow in his hand at the squid that had spoken. "This is the border of my Violet Water tribe. It has been so since ancient times. We haven't set up any defenses here these past few years. You seem to have forgotten this. Did you really think that this place had become someone else's territory?" After Wu Luxiu finished speaking, the ice arrow shot out. The squid that spoke quickly dodged, but the ice arrow seemed to have grown eyes. While it was dodging its tentacles, it tracked down its heart and ruthlessly pierced it. The other squids were scared silly. This little prince's combat strength was actually so strong. "Little Prince, we were wrong. We will leave now and never come here again." Wu Luxiu put down his bow. The squids secretly sighed in relief, thinking that the other party was planning to let them go. "Thank you for your forgiveness, little prince. We will leave now." That squid wrapped itself around Third Mo, but before it could move, it was entangled by a water whip. The water whip tightened and the squid was strangled to death. Following that, the water whip let go of the squid and gently wrapped around Third Mo, dragging him from the squid behind them. The squids all turned their heads and saw Wu Luxiu holding Third Mo in one hand and the water whip in the other. Beside him was Shui Qing Man. "Didn't you agree for us to leave? What is the meaning of this now? When did I agree for you to leave?" Wu Luxiu looked at them coldly. "Since you have come to our territory, then stay as guests." Wu Luxiu and Wu Luxiu worked together and those shrimp soldiers and crab generals were all taken care of by the 2 of them. When Third Mo came out of the bubble, he was still dizzy. Although he did not know these people, he could tell that they were saving him. Especially when Wu Luxiu gently dragged him over, he was even more certain of his thoughts. But why did they help him when he did not have any relations with their clan? After eliminating all the squids, the 2 of them worked together to clean up the corpses. "Mother, it's all done." Wu Luxiu smiled and came over. When Third Mo heard the words "little prince" and "mother," he guessed that they must be that clan's royalty. He calmed himself down and bowed to Shui Qing Man. Just as he was about to say a few words of thanks, he heard Wu Luxiu ask, "You are Third Mo, right? Nine-Headed Birds Academy." Chapter 672. Third Mo was very surprised, but he did not show it on his face. He denied it and said, "You've got the wrong person." "Apologize? How is that possible? You look exactly the same as the portrait 10th brother gave us. How could we mistake you for someone else?" Wu Luxiu couldn't believe it. "I don't know anyone from your clan. I don't even know which clan you are from. How could I possibly know your 10th prince?" Third Mo still refused to admit his identity. At the same time, he was also guessing the identity of Shui Qing Man and the others. Why would the queen and prince of a race be willing to save him? They know my identity. Could it be that they saved me for some reason? Ural had also encountered such situations when he was traveling on land. He knew that Third Mo was not clear about their identities and would not admit his identity. Thus, he explained, "We are from the Violet Water tribe. Our 10th brother is not a member of our clan, but a human. A human? Third Mo's mind started to spin again. How could a human become the prince of the Violet Water clan? What was his motive for showing them his portrait? You don't have to doubt the reason why we saved you. Shui Qing Man smiled and said, we were also entrusted by Little Ten to help you if we meet you at the bottom of the sea if you have any difficulties. We mean no harm. Thank you, Your Highness, for saving my life. However, you're mistaken. I'm not the person you're talking about. Third Mo denied. His trip to the 9th star Dark Sea was a secret. Not many people knew about it, let alone someone who had become a prince of the water race. Although he was very grateful to them for saving him, he did not want to put himself in danger as the matter he was here to do was of great importance. Little Ten is Sima Yuyue. Shui Qing Man smiled as she looked at Third Mo's shocked expression with satisfaction. Yuyue? Third Mo was truly shocked this time. How come he didn't know that Sima Yuyue had become the Violet Water Tribe's 10th Highness? Judging from your expression, you know 10th brother, right? Wu Laxiu said, 10th brother told us to help someone called Third Mo if we see him. Now tell me, are you Third Mo? Third Mo was a little embarrassed as he bowed towards Shui Qing Man and said, I didn't know your identities so I hid it from you guys. I'm really sorry. Little Ten said, if you meet you, you may not admit your identity, but as long as you mention her name, you will understand. Shui Qing Man said. Thank you for saving my life. Third Mo thanked them again. What are you thanking me for? You're 10th brother's friend, so you're naturally a friend of our Violet Water clan. Wu Laxiu said, you're quite capable. You don't have any human aura on you. If it weren't for the fact that you look so much like the portrait Yuyue gave me, we wouldn't have cared about this. Alright, 9th brother. Don't talk to him anymore, Ural said. He's seriously injured. Let's go back to the palace first. That's true. If there's anything, we can talk about it when we get back. Wu Laxiu said. Eat the elixir first before you leave, said Shui. Chapter 673. You don't have to worry too much. They have more people than us, but we have pills. A single pill could fill up half a person. The number of people we have added up isn't less than them. Shui Qing Man said. That's true. Wu Lali said, I took a look just now. I'm afraid there are over 1,000 pills. How did she know that we need so many pills? Wu Lali asked suspiciously. She doesn't know. Shui Qing Man played with Wu Lali's palm, she told us when we went there. Then, she told us to wait for 10 days and went to the school to find help. I heard Lu, and the others say that human alchemists place great importance on pill recipes. Yu also said that not many people know about this pill recipe. She asked someone to help her find this pill, so this pill recipe was exposed. Wu Lali said. That's right. Yu is a good child. We won't lose out if we take her as our goddaughter. Shui Qing Man said. I know. You've said it several times already. Our Violet Water tribe didn't treat her unfairly either. In the future, we will be her pillar of support in the underwater world. Wu Lali looked at Shui Qing Man in amusement. Yes, we should really let those people understand what kind of race we are. Shui Qing Man said. This time, the Water Dragon clan participated in the battle between us and the Eel clan in order to suppress us and become the leader of the Water Dragon clan. Dream on. No matter how hard they try, they can never become real dragons. Wu Lali snorted. Sigh, if the divine dragon was still around, the dragon clan wouldn't have so many problems. Shui Qing Man sighed. Divine dragon? That was a very long time ago. Wu Lali said, I don't know what happened that year, but the divine dragon, divine bird, divine turtle and divine tiger all disappeared. Since ancient times, the azure dragon of the left, the white tiger of the right, the black tortoise of the north, and the vermilion bird of the south were all in charge of managing the spirit beasts under them. However, at some point in time, the vermilion bird, mystic illusion, azure dragon, and white tiger all disappeared from the continent, and the spirit beast world gradually became chaotic. I wonder if the dragon god will return one day. On the other hand, the Prime Minister did not get anyone to bring the pills over. Instead, he delivered them personally. Wu Lali was in the middle of a meeting with Wu Lali Shang. A group of Violet Water tribe members were standing guard at the front. Your Majesty, Your Majesty. The Prime Minister bowed to the two of them. Prime Minister, why are you here? Wu Lali asked. The Queen and the others came back from the mainland and brought back a lot of pills. The King ordered me to send some to everyone. The Prime Minister said. Imperial Mother and the others are back? How is 10th brother doing? Wu Lalu asked. It's said that he's fine, the Prime Minister said. How many pills did they bring back? Wu Lali asked. I have less than half. I think there should be more than 1,000 of them, the Prime Minister replied. It just so happens that the medicinal pills from before are almost used up. These medicinal pills came at the right time. Wu Lali smiled. Didn't she say that she was going to visit a patient? Why does she still have so many pills for us? Wu Lalu said. This. I don't know either. The Prime Minister replied. Give me the medicinal pill. Then go back and ask Little 9 and the others about Little 10's situation. Wu Lalu instructed. Yes, second. Prime Minister, you don't have to go back and ask. Wu Lali said as he looked at Wu La Xiao and Wu La Air swimming over. Prime Minister, you can go back. Wu Lalu waved his sleeves. Yes. The Prime Minister left and met Wu La Xiao and the others. He bowed to them and then returned to the palace. Big brother, second brother. Wu La Xiao and the others swam over. Why are you here? We came to check on the situation here. We heard the horn blowing just now. Wu Lalu said. A group of people came just now, but we beat them back. Wu Lalu said. You came at the right time. Tell us about 10th brother. How is he? Who injured him? He's doing well now. Wu La Xiao and the others told them about Sima Yoyue's situation and how they saved 3rd Mo. With the support of the pills, the Water Dragon clan and the Eel clan can wait to be defeated by us. Wu Lalu said confidently. First, second, the other party is attacking again. A clan member ran over to report. Pass down the order. Those who don't have any pills come here to get them. Then move out together and make sure that none of them will return. Wu Lalu instructed. Yes, second. The person went down to pass down the order. Wu La Xiao put his hands together and pressed each finger. We've been away for so many days. Let's meet them today. If we don't teach them a lesson today, I'm afraid they won't grow any brains. Then the two of you will take the lead today. Don't fight with their strongest people. Pay attention to your safety. Wu Lali warned. We understand. Wu La Xiao finished speaking and left in high spirits. Sima Yuyue didn't know about the situation at the 9th Star Ocean. After she sent Shui Qing Man and the others off, she greeted Sima Lai and took Little 7 back to the sect. When she returned, Han Miao Shuang and the others were still cultivating. For her pills, the 3 of them didn't rest at all. In addition to helping Su Jin, they were exhausted. Sima Yuyue didn't disturb them. She walked around and went to find Sima Yulin and the others. She wanted to see how the team was doing. Little 7 ran off alone when she returned to the sect. Sima Yuyue wasn't worried about her safety here. She didn't know where she ran off to. This time, she went to the cultivation pagoda. When she came to the first floor, there was a teacher who swiped a card at the entrance to manage the order in the pagoda. She saw that when the students entered, they would pass the card to the teacher and tell him how many days they would stay. The teacher would then swipe the number on the card. When she stood in the pagoda, she felt more abundant spirit energy and a richer fragrance. This fragrance, she was slightly stunned. This smell was so familiar. This smell. You're back. Fatty Chu just came out of the pagoda and ran over. I just came back. Sima Yue said. The last time she came back, Fatty Chu was still in seclusion. The two of them didn't see each other. I heard that you were injured before you went into seclusion. It's a pity that we couldn't ask for leave and couldn't go out. It's good to see that you're fine now. Fatty Chu looked her up and down and confirmed that she was fine. I came back once before, but I didn't see you. Sima Yue said. Are you going back now? You're not here to cultivate? No, I just came to take a look. I'm going to look for Big Brother and the others. Then let's go. When a person who just walked to the square heard Sima Yue's name, his eyes lit up. He hurriedly turned around and saw Sima Yue and Fatty Chu walking outside. He subconsciously followed them. Chapter 674. Sima Yue. Sima Yue heard a stranger's voice calling her. She stopped and turned around. She did not see anyone she knew. Are you Sima Yue? A short boy with a big knife came to Sima Yue and asked with his chin raised. Who are you? Sima Yue asked. He didn't seem to know such a person. I'm He Feng. People call me Madman. He Feng replied. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. Was he the rumored lunatic of the inner yard? It was different from what he had imagined. In her expectation, the person who liked to fight should be a tall and burly man, not this delicate and pretty boy who was only a few centimeters taller than her. She looked at him from head to toe. Other than the big knife that was worthy of the title of a lunatic, everything else about him seemed normal. Are you Sima Yue? He Feng asked. You've got the wrong person, Sima Yue said calmly. She knew what this guy was up to the moment he found her, but she wasn't in the mood to fight with him right now. You're mistaken. I heard someone call you Sima Yue, how could I be wrong? He Feng scratched his head in confusion. You must have heard wrongly. Maybe someone was calling someone else. Sima Yue said and wanted to leave. He Feng ran in front of Sima Yue and blocked their way. I know, it's you. You're mistaken. He continued to deny. Impossible. Unless you can prove it. He Feng said. How do you prove it? Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. Fight me. If you win, you'll prove that you're not. He Feng said shamelessly. I'm a new student, and you're one of the top 20 on the billboard. Do you think it's appropriate for you to challenge me? Sima Yue asked. Suitable. He Feng said, do you agree or not? If you don't agree, it means that you are Sima Yue. Sima Yue was defeated by his shamelessness and said, even if I were Sima Yue, I would never fight with you. Why? He Feng asked. Because I'm not interested in your kind of challenge. Sima Yue said, besides, I'm injured. You won't fight with an injured person, right? You're injured? Why can't I see it? Divine sense. Sima Yue said, you know, if your divine sense is injured, it will affect your battle. You definitely don't want to have an unfair advantage. Right? He Feng lowered his head and thought about it seriously. He nodded and said, you're right. You're injured now, so I can't fight with you. I'll look for you later. After saying that, he carried his broadsword and left. Yue, you're in trouble. Fatty Chu looked at Sima Yue pitifully. What's wrong? Sima Yue continued to walk forward. It's said that those who are pestered by this lunatic won't give up unless you fight with him. He'll keep pestering you until you agree. Fatty Chu said. It's okay. He can't enter the parting garden. Sima Yue said. That's true. When you can't stand him, you can go to the parting garden. He won't dare to barge in. Fatty Chu said with a smile. Let's go. We'll see what my brother and the others are doing. We'll also see how the team is doing. The two of them returned to their room and saw Sima Yuchi and the others sitting together discussing something. What are you talking about? She walked over and sat down. She looked at them and asked. You came back just in time. Sima Yuchi said, we're discussing some things about the team. What's wrong with the team? Did you encounter any difficulties? We didn't encounter any difficulties. Our team only has these few people. There aren't any internal conflicts. Sima Yuchi said. Then why do you all look so worried? Sima Yuyue didn't understand. We were just discussing whether or not we should take on a mission. Sima Yuran said. Take on a mission? That's right. Sima Yulu said, we've been cultivating in the Spirit Pagoda for the past few days. We've almost used up all our cultivation points. You've used it up so quickly? Sima Yuyue asked curiously. We're still a little better. That's because new students have a guaranteed amount of cultivation points. Sima Yuming said, but we don't have a job system. We can't use our own products to exchange for cultivation points. That's why our cultivation points are used up faster. Sima Yuchi explained. I say, the first few times I came, you all went into closed-door cultivation. Sima Yuyue said. Since that's the case, we really have to think of a way to earn cultivation points. That's why we're discussing this. Sima Yuchi said, most teams rely on accepting missions. We've also gone to see if there's anything suitable for us. Is there? Fatty Chu asked. There are a few that are not bad. Sima Yuchi handed a few pieces of paper in front of everyone. These missions are what we picked out. They're not very difficult missions, but the cultivation points are relatively high. Sima Yuyue looked at one of them. It was written on it. Go to the dark forest and get 10 flamingo eggs. You can get 1,000 points. There were only a dozen of them. Just this mission alone could give them 100 points of cultivation points. And this was enough for them to cultivate in the cultivation pagoda for 3 months. This mission was not bad. She looked at another one. It was written on it. Kill the 10 great evildoers in the periphery. You can get 1,000 points for killing one of them. And these 10 people were ranked. The higher the ranking, the higher the cultivation points. This is also considered a mission from the sect? She couldn't help but ask. Yes. Sima Yuchi said, we've already investigated these 10 people thoroughly. They are all unforgivable evil people. They specialize in kidnapping and pillaging. Among them, there are even a few who rely on absorbing the essence of women to increase their strength. It can be said that every one of them is full of evil. Their death is not regrettable. Sima Yuyue looked at the ranks attached to them. Their strength was not particularly strong. It was not to the point where they couldn't be dealt with. These people don't look very powerful. Why is the cultivation points of this mission so high? Because those people are too evil. But they have a lot of means to protect their lives. They are not easy to kill. Sima Yuran said, and this mission has been issued for a long time. The sect's missions have a deadline. If this mission is issued within a certain time and no one completes it, the cultivation points will be increased accordingly. Were there many people who took this mission before? Sima Yuyue asked. Many, but no one succeeded. At first, the 10th place only had 500 cultivation points. It increased by 100 in 2 years. Now it has increased to 1,000. No one succeeded in 10 years. That's right. Sima Yuran said, and the students who took the mission would get information about these people from the sect. But when they went, they would lose track of the prey. Chapter 675. Is everyone so cunning? Sima Yuyue lowered her head and looked at the names of the 10 people. The first person's cultivation points had reached 5,000 points and he was only an ultimate god. Everyone is crafty, especially the first one. His strength is not the highest, but his cultivation is the highest. In other words, he is the hardest to deal with. Sima Yuran said. Actually, I don't really agree with choosing this mission. Sima Yuming said, we just started accepting missions, so it's better to choose something easier. I prefer to go to the dark forest to look for flamingo eggs. It's similar to the missions we took before. In the past, when they were in the Capital Institute, they would often accept such missions from the Institute. They would go somewhere to do something or look for medicinal herbs. If we want to take on the task of finding flamingo eggs, we can also take this one. Sima Yulin said, when we were choosing the mission, we heard the teacher say that there were 2 people who happened to be in the dark forest. If we're lucky, we might run into them. If we're unlucky and don't see them, then we have nothing to lose. That works too. What do you think? Sima Yuchi asked. I have no objections. Fatty Chu had never cared about these things. As long as he could refine armaments, cultivate, eat and sleep well, and be with everyone, he was fine with anything. I also have no objections. Wei Ziqi said. Previously, he had accepted 2 taming missions and earned some cultivation points. Now, he was not short of them, so this time, he mainly followed them and did not take the lead. Me too. Sima Yuyue didn't have much desire for the cultivation pagoda because there was an even more powerful spirit pagoda. Ouyang and Beigong were not around. They were still recuperating. However, if it was a unanimous decision, the 2 of them would not disagree. It's settled then. Sima Yuchi said, we mainly take on the task of finding flamingo eggs, and then take on the task of killing them. All right. By the way, is there a time limit for this mission? Sima Yuyue asked. In theory, no. However, most of the time limit won't exceed the amount of cultivation points obtained. In theory? Think about it. If you go on a mission and spend a year's time, but you only get a month's worth of cultivation in return, it's not worth it. Sima Yulin explained. That's why those people usually set a time limit for themselves to carry out missions based on the cultivation points they obtain. Sima Yu nodded in understanding. Instead of spending time on an impossible mission, it was better to go back and choose another mission. As for those missions that he couldn't complete, his cultivation points would rise again and again. Have you found out where the dark forest is? The dark forest is located in the central continent and is a rather dangerous place. It's about the same as the Pu Luo mountain range in the Yilin continent. Sima Yulin said. Because many people went in and never came out, it was called the dark forest. The central prefecture? That's still a bit far away. Sima Yuyue said, since it's not easy for us to go out, let's see if there are any missions along the way. We can complete them together so that we don't have to go out again in the future. Everyone felt that this was reasonable, so they looked for a mission in the central prefecture. This mission is rather difficult, but the location is in the central prefecture. Wei Ziqi took out a piece of paper and passed it to everyone. Investigate the strange things that happened in the bright red mountain peak recently. Fatty Chu looked at the mission on the paper and said, what kind of mission is this? It doesn't explain the situation. Look below. Wei Ziqi said. The danger level is actually 4 stars. Fatty Chu looked at the 4 little stars below and cried out in surprise. Why is it so dangerous? This means that there's something fishy going on there. I've checked this mission as well. Because a few students who accepted this mission died, the difficulty increased. The cultivation points also increased. 10,000 cultivation points. Fatty Chu looked at the cultivation points column and cried out again. If it's 10,000, each of us can get 1,000. It's enough for 2 to 3 years. Sima Yuyue said. Not bad, let's accept this mission. Won't it be too dangerous? Sima Yulin asked uncertainly. It's definitely dangerous. If not, the sect students wouldn't have died. Sima Yuyue said, but the rewards are generous, right? With Yu around, the danger will be reduced by quite a bit. Fatty Chu said. Why don't we give it a try? Wei Ziqi said. Sima Yuyue had so many ways to protect her life, so there shouldn't be any danger. Sima Yulin thought about it and agreed. A team can only accept 3 missions at a time. Let's confirm these 3. Sima Yuqi said, does anyone have any objections? No objections. When Bei Gong and Ouyang Fei come out, we'll ask them for their opinions. If they agree, we'll confirm it. Sima Yulin said. Okay. Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei came out of the room in the evening. Sima Yuqi went to look for them and told them about the missions. Both of them didn't have any objections. So Sima Yuqi went to the teacher in charge of the missions on the second day and accepted the 3 missions. The teacher looked at the missions they accepted and looked at their team, saying, are you sure you want to accept the 3rd mission? It's a little difficult for new students. Yes, teacher. We're sure we want to accept these 3 missions. Sima Yuqi said. The teacher saw that he was firm and didn't say anything else. He recorded their missions and gave them a badge. With this badge, the sect would recognize the missions they completed. And with this badge, they could leave the inner sect. Sima Yuyue took out a mother stone and connected to Little Seven. She told her when they were going to accept the mission and asked if she wanted to go with them. She also told her where they were going and what missions they were going to accept. Little Seven was with Yuan Shaojia at that time. When she heard that she was going to leave, she jumped off the stool and wanted to run, afraid that he would make her stay. Why are you running so fast? Yuan Shaojia grabbed her. I didn't say you can't go. You agree to let me go? Little Seven looked at Yuan Shaojia in disbelief. Go out for a walk. It'll help you evolve. Yuan Shaojia said, take this. When you're in danger, it can take you out of danger temporarily. He stuffed a small box into Little Seven's arms and let go of her clothes. Little Seven kept the box and left his house with her braids. She went to find Sima Yuyue. When Sima Yuyue put down the mother stone, she heard a voice that gave her a headache. Chapter 676. Sima Yuyue, how are you today? He Feng walked in with his big knife. When he saw Sima Yuyue standing at the door, he walked over. Sima Yuyue's mouth twitched. Didn't this guy just ask about it last night? Were they planning to visit him 3 times a day? Until she's fully recovered and then fight him? Looking at it now, Fatty's pitiful look yesterday really suited her. This lunatic was more of a headache than she had imagined. Lunatic, I won't be able to recover for the next half a year. You don't have to come and find me every day. She said helplessly. Half a year? That long? He Feng's face fell. Of course. My soul is injured, and my divine sense is damaged. Of course it would take me that long. Sima Yuyue said, and this is under the condition that we have the support of good pills. Otherwise, it would take even longer. So don't come looking for me for the time being. I can't compare to you even if you look for me. So you'd better leave quickly. She felt that she had expressed her meaning very clearly, but a certain someone did not understand and was still standing in the same place. Isn't this taking too long? How impatient. He Feng said. Sima Yuyue shrugged, looking as if there was nothing she could do even if she was anxious. Yu, when are we leaving? Little Seven walked in and saw the 2 of them standing in the courtyard. Where are you going? He Feng asked in surprise. Our club has accepted a mission and we're going to do it. Sima Yuyue said, we still need to make some preparations, so we won't keep you. Where are you going to do the quest? How long will it take? He Feng asked. He shouted when he saw Little Seven walking towards Sima Yuyue. Little Seven? Why are you here? Why can't I be here? Who are you? Little Seven only knew to ask who He Feng was after she replied. Little Seven waved her hand and interrupted him, saying, I don't care who you are, hurry up and leave, otherwise I'll send you flying with one punch. He Feng's face was red, but he seemed to be afraid of Little Seven. He didn't dare to say anything and just left with his head lowered. Sima Yuyue saw that He Feng, who had been chattering around her, turned around and left because of little Seven's words. She asked in surprise, "Little Seven, why is he so obedient to you?" Little Seven didn't know either. "Maybe it's because I beat him up before. But I don't have any impression of him." It seemed like Little Seven often beat people up in the past. Actually, Little Seven didn't beat up Hefong. The reason why he listened to her was because he had seen her send the second place on the leaderboard flying with one punch. Hefong himself wasn't a match for the second place. Compared to Little Seven, who ended the battle with a single punch, he didn't dare to provoke him. You, when are we leaving?" Little Seven happily pulled her hand and asked. She was so happy that she could finally go out and take a look. "We are ready, but before we leave, we need to ask Principal Yuan. We need his permission to bring you out," Sima Yue said. "He has already agreed. We don't need to go, let's go," Little Seven said. "He knows that you're going out?" Sima Yue was surprised. Was the principal a god and knew everything? "Because when you contacted me, I was in his house. When you looked for me, he heard it," Little Seven said. "He even gave me a protective amulet." "What protective amulet?" Little Seven took out the box and opened it. Sima Yue saw a few one-time array stones inside. The array stones were carved with intricate patterns. One look and you could tell that it was made by an expert. At least, she wasn't able to make such a good one-time array. The better the one-time array, the shorter the activation time and the further the teleportation distance. The amulet that Principal Yuan gave her was indeed a life-saving amulet. However, he also knew that not many people would discover Little Seven's identity at this time. There wouldn't be any powerful people from the outside world who would come to capture her. "Keep this well. If you encounter any danger, activate it and inject your spiritual energy into one of the array stones. Do you understand?" Sima Yue returned the box to Little Seven. Little Seven kept the box and said, "Can we go now?" "Wait for them. We can go when they're done." After a while, everyone came to the courtyard. Once everyone was present, they went to the teleportation array in the inner sect. "Going out again?" Seeing Sima Yue, the two people in the teleportation array recognized her. "This time, we're going out to complete a mission," Sima Yue said. Sima Yuchi handed over the mission plate that the sect had given them to take a look. One of them condensed his spirit energy and drew a few lines on the array on the ground, saying, "This is the array that will lead you to the central province. It's random. As for where you will be sent, it will depend on your luck." Sima Yue and Sima Yulin were shocked. He only used his spiritual energy to draw a few lines on the array and it changed completely. Sima Yue couldn't help but look at the two guards. What kind of people were they? They were so skilled in arrays, but they were only here to guard the array? "Let's go." Bei Gong Tang saw that she was still in a daze and poked her lightly. They came to the array and it started to activate. After the group of people disappeared, the array lines that were drawn with spiritual energy gradually disappeared. "Did you see his expression just now?" "I saw it. Looks like he knows arrays too." "Should be. Just now, his eyes were fixed on you as you set up the array. His hands were moving around unconsciously, as if he was learning. There are many array masters here. If they can learn a thing or two, it's their ability. We don't have to hide it. Principal Yuan asked us to stand guard here because he had the same idea." "Ha ha ha, that guy wants us to be teachers. He can only use this method to let others learn. There will always be a few people who can learn something. Those guys have to hurry up. We can't stay here for long. Yeah, time flies. In a blink of an eye, there's only 5 to 6 years left. 50 years of my life have been wasted here just like that. It's all because we were tricked by him. Who asked you to make a bet with him? Even I have to stay here with you for so long. Sigh, there are benefits to staying here. Didn't we improve a lot in these few years? When we go back, we might even improve more than those guys. Maybe, Sima Yue and the others didn't know how long they stayed in the array. When they stepped on land again, they were already in Central Province. Thinking back to when they were crossing the void, the space tunnel was so stable. This was just a temporary array, but it was so stable. She was suspicious. What kind of expert was the one who set up the array? Chapter 677. Sima Yue looked around. They were on a boundless grassland. She did not know where the dark forest was or where the town was. Why don't we randomly choose a direction to try? Sima Yue said. Not good. This kind of grassland stretches as far as the eye can see, and we don't know how big it is. We also don't know if there are any hidden dangers. If we were to walk around carelessly, we might end up in danger. Wei Ziqi said. Then I'll have to ask someone. Fatty Chu looked around. There's most likely no one here. Looks like we can only try looking for spirit beasts. That's the only way. Sima Yue said. Scree. A giant eagle flew over from afar. When it saw Sima Yue and the others, it wanted to catch two of them for dinner. He didn't expect to be subdued before he could even make a move. Don't be afraid, we're just asking for directions. Because of Little Peng, she decided to let this person off. What do you want to ask? The giant eagle asked. Where is this? West Coast Desert, the giant eagle replied. Where is it located in Central State? Southeast. Where is the dark forest? How far is it from here? I don't know. I've never been there. Where's the nearest town? The giant eagle rolled its eyes, stretched out its huge wings and pointed in a direction, saying, Go in this direction. Fly for 2 days and you'll see the town. After Sima Yue and the others finished asking their questions, they got the giant eagle to leave. After flying into the air, a hint of ruthlessness flashed in the giant eagle's eyes, and then it flapped its wings and flew away. Since it doesn't know much, why don't we go to the city and ask around to understand the situation? At the same time, we can see if there are any teleportation arrays. Sima Yulin said. All right. In order to hurry, Sima Yue called Chongming over. It was the strongest and the fastest. But even so, they still didn't see the shadow of a town after flying for 2 days. F***ck, we've been tricked by that bald bird. Fatty Chu cursed. What should we do now? Let's continue forward. Sima Yue said, we've already walked so far. If we turn back, we won't be able to find that bald bird. Who knows if it's telling the truth about the town ahead? What if this is also a trap? Sima Yue disagreed. Everyone thought about it and agreed. This direction was a trap for them. Whether or not there was a town was still unknown. That damned bald bird, don't let me see it again. Otherwise, I'll definitely roast it. Fatty Chu said hatefully. I want to eat wings. Seven said. Hey, there's someone below. Sima Yuming said. Everyone looked down and saw a black dot moving on the ground in the distance. It looked like a person. Sima Yue patted Chongming's back, and Chongming flew over. When he got closer, he realized that it was actually a very charming woman. There was actually a single woman in this place. It seemed a little unusual. However, they had no choice but to ask her about the situation. Hello. Bei Gong Tang was the only woman here, and was sent to chat with that woman. That woman was still on guard when she saw them. She looked at Bei Gong Tang and the people behind her warily and asked, What do you want to do? Don't be afraid, we won't do anything to you. We just want to ask if there's a town here. Bei Gong Tang asked. Why should I tell you if there is? That woman was not so afraid anymore, but she was unusually cold. Bei Gong Tang thought about it and took out 2 medium crystals, saying, If you tell us, we'll give them to you. That woman took the crystals and pointed in another direction, saying, We'll reach in 2 days. 2 days again. She wouldn't be tricking them again, right? Come with us. Bei Gong Tang said. Sure, 20 medium crystals. That woman said without hesitation. Bei Gong Tang turned around and glanced at them. Seeing that they didn't object, she took out 10 medium crystals. We'll pay the other half when we reach. Okay. The woman took the medium crystals and straightforwardly called out her flying beast. She brought Sima Yue and the others in the direction she pointed. This time, they were careful and let the other party bring them there. As expected, they saw a small town after walking for 2 days. We're here. This is the town. That woman landed at the city gate and stretched out her hand to ask Bei Gong Tang for the remaining medium crystals. Bei Gong Tang straightforwardly gave her the crystals. After that, they saw her whistle to an old man guarding the city gate. Old Wu, we've received the goods. Oh, not bad this time. You brought so many people. The old man guarding the city gate had already sized up Sima Yue and the others. He said satisfactorily, not bad, the pigs this time are very fat. That's right, all of them are the best. The woman said. Old Wu took out a bag of medium crystals and said, we'll go with the usual price. 10 medium crystals per person, half for the children. Here. That woman took the bag and kept it with a smile, saying, then I'll leave first. Hey, what do you mean? Fatty Chu and the others stopped the woman. The woman raised her chin, saying, what do I mean? It's so obvious, don't you know? Ha ha ha, I hope you have a good time here. The woman laughed loudly. Sima Yuchi and the others' expressions were ugly. They were not idiots. How could they not see that this woman had sold them out? The woman laughed loudly and left. How could Sima Yue and the others let her go? However, the moment they moved, a group of people ran out from the city and surrounded them. You are now our slaves. Obediently come back with us to work. Old Wu tapped the smoking pipe in his hand and said faintly. Is that so? We don't know what kind of ability you have to make us work for you. Sima Yuchi snorted. This is the West Coast Desert. You're standing on our land. Once you're here, you have to listen to us obediently. Otherwise, you won't even know how you died. Old Wu threatened. Old Wu, I'll leave first. That woman cupped her hands to Old Wu and turned to leave. You want to leave after tricking us? Sima Yue laughed and let go of Little Seven's violent body. Little Seven leaped and disappeared in front of everyone's eyes. Ah dash, the woman's scream was heard. Everyone looked over and saw that she was already lying on the ground. Little Seven stood beside her and looked coldly at the corpse on the ground. When Old Wu's subordinates saw Little Seven's indifferent expression, they were all shocked by her move and broke out in cold sweat. Wasn't she a child? How could she be so strong? Old Wu reacted and waved at those people, saying, capture them all and send them to the mine. Those who resist will be killed. Originally, /BK/HL/HL. Chapter 678. Mine? Who are you people? Sima Yulu asked. Who are we? Old Wu raised his head and laughed. You're already here, yet you're asking us who we are? Ha ha ha. If it wasn't for the fact that we didn't know who you were, would we have been brought here by that woman? Fatty Chu snorted coldly. Speak, this lord doesn't want to kill nameless people. You little brats. Old Wu laughed so hard that he almost couldn't hold the long pipe in his hand. Let me tell you, this is the Great Gorge Ridge. We are the Brave Moon sect, the largest sect in the Great Gorge Ridge. This is our mine. There are so many people in your mine. Another town? Old Wu took out a leaf and rolled it up. He placed it in the pipe and smacked it twice before saying with a sneer, these are the places where we miners live. Humph, humph. Now that you're here, it's better for you to obediently be our miners. Otherwise, you'll suffer physical pain. Just based on the few of you, you want to keep us here? Sima Yuran took out his weapon and pointed it at Wu. Old Wu glanced at little Seven and said, "This little baby is indeed surprising, but this is the Brave Moon sect." He took out a whistle and blew it. Immediately, a group of black-robed men flew out from the city walls and surrounded them again. "The people who came this time are not bad." Sima Yue said, "Old man, do you have a teleportation portal here?" "Of course. We're the largest force in the entire Great Gorge Ridge. How could we not have a teleportation array? But even if there is a teleportation array, you won't have the chance to use it. You can only mine for us for the rest of your lives. Go, give them the slave rings." At Old Wu's command, those people took out a pure silver necklace and looked at the few people in the middle. Coincidentally, at this moment, a huge warship sailed over. It was like a yacht in the sky. The warship arrived at the city gate and landed. A group of people holding whips appeared on the deck of the warship. Then, a group of people wearing silver collars came down from the ship one after another. Everyone had their heads down and looked very tired. At the same time, the city gates opened, and a group of people walked out. They were all wearing silver necklaces, and all of them had numb expressions. Their hopes for the next day could not be seen. And their collars were exactly the same as the collars in the hands of the people surrounding them. "It's a slave ring." Fatty Chu recognized it at a glance. "Fatty, you know. Once this thing is worn, as long as you don't take it off, you'll always be a slave. Others will know that you're a slave, and ordinary people can hunt these slaves down. Every faction has something like this. It can suppress one's strength, and it can't be taken off easily." Sima Yue looked at the people getting on and off the ship. Indeed, some of them were quite powerful. However, these people obediently listened to the turtle slaves. When the people who came out of the city had boarded, the people on the ship cupped their hands towards Old Wu and asked, "Old Wu, are we bringing these people along as well?" Old Wu waved his hand at them. "These guys haven't been trained yet. You guys can go first." "All right." The battleship took the newcomers and left. Sima Yue squinted her eyes at the battleship. Her eyes were filled with interest. Fatty Chu happened to be beside her and saw her interest. He said, "This kind of battleship can hold many people and can fly in the air. Furthermore, its defense is very good. However, it's very difficult to make and requires a lot of materials. Ordinary factions can't make this kind of thing. Can you make it?" Fatty Chu shook his head. "Maybe in a few decades." Sima Yue looked at Fatty Chu approvingly. This kind of battleship was hard to refine even if one used their toes to think. However, this guy confidently said that he would be able to refine it in a few decades. His ambition was commendable. "Fifth bro, let's talk later. What do we do with these guys now?" Sima Yue asked. "Didn't you want to put the slave rings on us?" "Then let's put them on." Sima Yue said. "Those people were wearing them just now. I don't think they did it willingly. Let's help them." Sima Yue didn't hide anything this time and directly called out those old guys from the Spirit Pagoda. Some of them went with Little Rock the last time, so there were still some left. With those old guys taking action, those who came later weren't their opponents at all. Those who came at the beginning who were weaker were all taken care of by Sima Yue and the others. "Young master, it's all done. Do you want their lives?" Honor Rock asked. Sima Yue thought about it and shook her head, saying, "Let's bring them into the city first and see what's going on inside." Of course, there were only a few who survived the battle. The others were all killed during the battle. Sima Yue set a fire and burned the corpses clean. Those old guys felt the heat and couldn't help but think of that person in the Spirit Pagoda. They had followed Sima Yue to protect Little Rock. They never thought that there would be a real divine bird by her side, their real king. After it was burned clean, Sima Yue waved her hand and those flames returned to her hand. She played with the flames in her hand and looked at Wu with an evil smile, causing him to break out in cold sweat. "Let's go in," Sima Yuran said. "Wait a minute. Little Seven stopped him. Then, she ran to the ground and walked around. Finally, she came in front of those who were still alive. She picked up the slave rings and put them on. Let's go. She clapped her hands and looked at her masterpiece satisfactorily. Sima Yuyue pinched her little face, saying, let's go. Let's go take a look at their teleportation array. Each of them carried one and entered the city. Once they entered, they realized that it didn't look like a real city. There were only rows of houses and a few zombie-like people walking on the streets. A group of patrolling people happened to walk over. When they saw that they had caught Wu, they rushed over. However, before they could reach Sima Yuyue, they were all killed by Honor Rock and the others. Those people with numb expressions came over one after another. When they saw that they had caught Wu and killed so many patrolling soldiers, there was finally a ripple in their eyes. Benefactor, save me. A man wearing tattered clothes rushed in front of Sima Yuyue and the others. Looking at his eyes, he didn't seem to have been here for long. That was why he was still thinking of resisting and escaping. As for the others, they merely watched from the side. They didn't plan to help. There was even someone who tried to dissuade him. Kid, you should come back. So many people came in the past, but not many succeeded. Those who tried to escape were all killed. Chapter 679. That person's face flashed with a trace of struggle. Finally, he looked at Sima Yuyue and the others and said, please save us. Sima Yuyue did not reply immediately. She looked at the man and asked, what's your name? Jinghuan. Sima Yuyue looked at the familiar eyes and asked, who is Jinghuan to you? You know my third brother? Jinghuan looked at Sima Yuyue in surprise. She knew that Jinghuan was the third child in the family. She really didn't expect that she would actually meet her younger brother here. What is your ranking? She asked again. Sixth brother. Sima Yuyue grabbed his left hand and saw the thick calluses on his palm. Jinghuan often said, my sixth brother is a refiner, left-handed. Sima Yuyue pulled him up and said, how long have you been here? Do you know anything about this place? It's been almost half a year. I know a little about this place. Jinghuan saw Sima Yuyue's reaction and knew that she was willing to save him. Half a year was not a long time in this world, so Jinghuan and the others did not know that he had gone missing. Do you know my third brother? Jinghuan asked. Yes, I do. Sima Yuyue nodded. Don't worry, we will get you out of here. Speaking of which, Jinghuan was still Feng's savior. If it wasn't for the heart protection pill he refined to protect Feng for so many days, he wouldn't have been able to hold on until she saved him. Thank you. Jinghuan bowed. May I know your names? I'm Sima Yuyue. Sima Yuyue said. Seeing the confusion in Jinghuan's eyes, she continued, you might not know me, but you should know Shiman Feng. You know Brother Feng? Yes, our relationship is pretty good. It's because of him that I met Jinghuan. Sima Yuyue said. Let's talk about other things later. Let's deal with these things first. Follow us first. All right. Jinghuan followed Sima Yuyue and the others as they continued to walk forward. Although Sima Yuyue and the others looked young and weak, the people behind them were unfathomably strong. They might really be able to leave. He was different from the other slaves. Although he had been here for half a year, he didn't want to accept his fate. He didn't want to stay here forever. However, he was wearing the slave ring, which suppressed his strength. Their interspatial rings had also been snatched away. He had no way of contacting Jinghuan and the others. This was the West Coast Desert. Very few people came here to begin with, and it was always heavily guarded. If they wanted to leave, the chances were zero. Sima Yuyue was his only hope. Sima Yuyue looked at the people walking out of the house. She asked Jinghuan, are these the people who were sold here? More or less. Only a very small number of people came willingly. However, even those who came willingly can't leave. Those who tried to leave were either beaten to death or put on the slave ring. Jing Huan said. How did you get here? Sima Yue asked. I was tricked. Jing Huan said, I traveled to Wangxia City and wanted to use the teleportation array to go to other places. However, I was sent to the West Coast Desert. I flew here for 10 days and 10 nights but couldn't find my way. Later, I met a girl who said she knew how to leave this place. So I followed her. Who knew that I would be captured and used as labor here? Thinking about his experience, he clenched his fists. Was it a girl wearing a purplish-blue dress with a cloud ribbon around her waist? Fatty Chu asked. You were tricked here by her too? Then where is she? She's dead. Sima Yue said. Dead? She tricked us and still wanted to live? Sima Yue said, we kindly sent her to the ghost realm. After a person died, their soul would enter the ghost realm. As for whether they could survive in the ghost realm, that was another matter. I still want to take revenge on her after I leave. Jing Huan said, the headquarters is just ahead. The teleportation array is here? Sima Yue asked. Jing Huan nodded, this is the only way out. The Brave Moon sect used this place to send the ores back. You said that you were sent here when you used the teleportation array in Wangxia City? Sima Yue suddenly asked. Yes. What's wrong? Nothing. I just suddenly remembered that the Brave Moon sect probably had some ulterior motives. Ulterior motives? Jing Huan didn't understand. Yes. Sima Yue pointed at the people on the street, look at these people. They're all wearing slave rings. This means that they didn't want to stay here. Even if the teleportation array between the cities is different, it's impossible to send people to such a remote place like the West Coast Desert. It's only when people are here that you can come here and become their slaves. But why don't they send people here directly? Sima Yue asked. Because they can't be sure if there's anyone powerful among the people sent here. If they send people here directly, what if they meet someone powerful? Can they still protect this place? Sima Yue said, and if they send people to the West Coast Desert, if the other party is powerful, they should be able to walk out on their own. If they meet someone weaker, they won't be able to do anything even if they're tricked into coming here. What a despicable Brave Moon sect. Jing Huan said hatefully. That's why I'm thinking that there should be many people like you. Who knows, there might be many people with illustrious identities among them. Sima Yue said. You're thinking of. Sima Yulin looked at Sima Yue and understood what she meant. It's fine if we didn't encounter this. But we've encountered it, and they almost tricked us as well. We naturally can't just stand by and watch. I was still hesitating before. Since the Brave Moon sect is the #1 sect here, they're definitely not weak. But if there are many people from other powers among them, then things will be easier. Sima Yue said with a smile. That's right. Those who were tricked naturally won't let the Brave Moon sect off so easily. If they return to their own sect, they'll definitely report this matter. Their own sect members are trapped here mining, so those powers definitely won't let the Brave Moon sect off so easily. When the time comes, many people will come looking for them. Even if they're the #1 sect, they won't be able to get anything out of it. Wei Ziqi continued. You want to release everyone here? Sima Yuren asked. That's right. Before we release them, we have to tell them the truth. Otherwise, they'll think that they were accidentally sent here. Sima Yue said. Those who tricked them wouldn't be let off so easily. Jing Huan's eyes shone, saying, I know a few people. They're also from large sections. Furthermore, 2 of them have high statuses. Chapter 680. Their identities are not bad? How bad are they? Sima Yue asked. One is the young master of a sect, and the other is the disciple of an elder. Jing Huan said, I don't know what their sect is called, and they didn't say. I think they're afraid of losing face for their sect. Since there's a young master of a sect here, there should be people with other identities as well. I think they won't say it for the sake of their own sect or clan's face. However, if they really get their freedom and go back, they will take revenge. Sima Yulin said. Then we can tell them what the Brave Moon sect did. This way, those who haven't figured it out will understand how they suffered all these years. Sima Yuming said. That's a good idea, but we have to settle things here first. Sima Yulin said. What's going on here? Fatty Chu asked. Stupid. Wei Ziqi poked his head, we're already standing in front of the main house. What do you think we have to do? Of course, we have to take care of the Brave Moon sect. I thought it was something big. Is this even a problem for us? Fatty Chu rubbed his forehead. In his opinion, it really wasn't a problem. Alright, even if it's not a problem, we still have to deal with it. Sima Yu said, Jing Huan, do you know how many people are here? Jing Huan shook his head, if we're not mining in the mines, we're in our own houses. We can't move around as we please. Even if we're working, there are supervisors watching over us. Then how did you talk to those people? When we were mining in the mines, the supervisor complained that the environment was not good, so he would slack off on the surface. Jing Huan said. There was no need to elaborate. Everyone could imagine what kind of life Jing Huan and the others were living here. Can you take this off? Sima Yu pointed at the slave collar around his neck. We have to ask him. Jing Huan said. They had been here for so long, but they had never seen anyone take it off. This kind of slave collar usually has a key. Fatty Chu said. He definitely knows how many people are here. Ouyang Fei said. Old man Wu was already dizzy from the beating. He felt dizzy and weak all over. Now that he was being stared at by a few pairs of eyes, he was scared half to death. Speak, how many people are inside? Sima Yuchi placed a knife on old Wu's neck. Even if you kill me, I won't say a word. Old Wu felt that he was quite strong-willed. Kill you? Sima Yuchi glanced at him, wouldn't killing you be letting you off too easily? Don't worry, if you don't tell us, we have ways to make you beg for death. Old Wu felt a chill in his heart when he saw the deep meaning in his eyes. If he had any sense, he would have killed himself by biting his tongue. However, he couldn't bear to lose his life, and he didn't believe that they could deal with the people in the headquarters. The power of the Brave Moon sect was not something they could deal with. However, he thought of what they said just now. If these slaves were all released, the Brave Moon sect would definitely face the biggest disaster in history. Yu, why don't you use your fire to burn one of his legs, so that he can't walk in the future? Little Seven said, Sai, why don't we just burn one of his hands? Let's burn his leg. If we burn his leg, we'll burn more things. Long legs, more meat. Anyway, he doesn't plan to tell us the situation inside. Okay, whatever Little Seven says. Sima Yu patted Little Seven's head lovingly. This little guy had such a black-bellied side. Old Wu's pupils constricted. He thought of Sima Yu's terrifying fire. If one of his legs was really burned, it would be worse than death. Sima Yu shot out a flame and the surrounding air became hot. She looked at Old Wu's 2 legs and asked Little Seven, which leg do you think should be burned? The right leg. Little Seven casually pointed. Little Seven, you're pointing at the left leg. Fatty Chu subconsciously reminded her. The left leg? Then let's burn the left leg. Little Seven did not care if she made a mistake and said disapprovingly. Sima Yu looked at Old Wu and said, I'll ask you one last time. Are you going to tell us the situation inside? No. Old Wu gritted his teeth and said. He did not believe that they would harm him, an important hostage, without knowing the enemy's situation. However, in the next second, a bone-piercing pain came from his left leg. He subconsciously wanted to scream, but Sima Yu fed him a pill. He could not scream and could only let out a hoarse cry. The fire burned very slowly under Sima Yu's control. Old Wu watched in horror as his left leg turned to ashes bit by bit. He could only make simple sounds. He looked at Sima Yu in agony, his body trembling uncontrollably. He was willing to talk, Hurry up and stop. Stop. However, Sima Yu did not stop because of his gaze. She waited until the fire had completely burned his left leg before she waved her hand and retracted the fire. You want to talk now? Sima Yu said as she played with the fire. Old Wu was still hesitant. If you don't want to talk, I won't force you. Sima Yu said, anyway, you're not the only person from the Brave Moon sect here. I'll ask them after I burn you bit by bit. After she finished speaking, she looked at the others. Seeing Old Wu's one-legged appearance, the others subconsciously retracted their legs. No. I'll talk. 2 hours later, Sima Yu and the rest were already sitting in the main hall of the headquarters. The people from the Brave Moon sect had all been subdued by them. Sima Yu looked at the people in the courtyard and was a little puzzled. This was obviously a very important mine. How could there not be a single top expert here? I asked just now. They said that the experts who were in charge of this place had been summoned back these 2 days. Sima Yu explained to everyone. This meant that they came in so smoothly this time because they were lucky. It just so happened that the experts were not around. She knew it, such a big mine, how could there not be any experts in the sect? Do you know when those experts will be back? She asked. Although there were a few old monsters around, the other party was still the biggest sect in the territory. How could they not have some background? And this mine was so important to the sect. If they knew that something had happened here, it would cause a lot of trouble. I don't know when they'll be back. In order to avoid trouble, we have to settle things here as soon as possible. Sima Yu said. She glanced at Fatty Chu who was eating spirit fruit and said, do you know how to break this kind of slave ring? You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.